Hello, hello, hello. Dum dum dum. Dum dum dum. There she is. Dum dum dum. Lum de dum. I don't know what that is. Lum de dum de dum. What is that? Oh, is that you waiting? I don't even know. How are you, Neil? Woo! 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 My eyes watering. I'm not crying. I've had a watery eye for 3 days. I don't know why I get it, but I get it once in a while. And it's very annoying. Hello, Easily. How are you? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. How is everybody today? I'm fine. I'm alive. I didn't take any drastic measures. Hope everyone's good. I'm just here waiting. Got here early. I know. I was here early too. I just didn't turn it on. I should have. I'm good. Flats today. Bare feet today. I hate heels. I hate heels. I bought those. You know, the thing is those heels I wore yesterday are I got those for $10 at a thrift shop. And they're like unworn. They're actually great shoes. Yeah. But yeah, the heels were fun. I don't know. Yeah, they're nice. They're really nice. They're very fancy, but they were literally $10 at the council shop. So I'm very happy. I like finding little things like that. I try to find all my silly shoes, out in the thrift shop world. Because they've got a lot of great, like, good heels that are hardly worn. And they're so easy. Hi, Jane. Good morning. How are you? How are you? Thank you all for stopping in yesterday and watching. That was really great to see everyone coming in. They were going to induce labor last night. Oh, but now they're waiting for today or tomorrow. Oh my Lord. That was a hard weekend for you, Easily. That must have been a hard weekend with a baby on the way. I hope Mama's doing okay. Oh man. I'm going to tell you, I was in labor for 36 hours. Or no, I wasn't. It was less than that. Probably like 24. But the thing about it is that was the most pain I've ever had in my entire life. And so and just exhausting, right? Like it's just an exhausting experience to give birth. And the pain is exhausting and whatever. So I'm just so hopeful that your baby has an easy time with her baby and that she gets relief and that they're giving her drugs. Because I'm sorry, you need drugs. Hi, butterflies. How are you? Oh, congratulations, Easily. Hi, Gimme Coffee. How you doing? Oh, so cool to see everyone. Good morning. I'm in a usual mood. Yeah. I'm in a usual mood. My longest labor was 6 hours. My toughest labor was 3 hours, all back labor. Oh, I mean, it sends a shudder through my body easily thinking about that. It just is unimaginable pain. And it goes on for fucking ever. It goes on for fucking ever. And you think, then nothing can take this pain away. And then the minute they give you an epidural, it's like, what? What's the problem? Everybody okay? Why are you guys looking at me like that? Like, whereas the minute before I was like, don't touch me. I'm in such pain. Get this baby out of me. Anyway, I actually meant for us to take a listen to a couple things this morning. I'm afraid I don't have like really great things for us to listen to. I'm sorry, but I do have things that I think we should listen to. But let's see. First, let me look on this. Oh God, there's just too many. There's just too many dicks around. Oh, and I was really grateful for Bobo. Bobo basically spent an entire day off helping Mom do her silly little live stream. And, usually I do that stuff alone, and it's really hard to do alone. Okay? It's just really hard. I'm sorry. It's really hard. And so I was really grateful for her to come yesterday and just hold the camera. Like, that alone makes my life so much easier, and it makes it easier to do this stuff. So I'm really appreciative to Bobo because she gave like an entire day off. She is a sweet daughter. This isn't making us any money. This isn't bringing anything into the household. She's the one who brings money into the household. And so for her to give up like a day off is like kind of fucking amazing. I don't know. Makes me mad that I don't have that I have to do it on my own. So I just feel bad. I wish she didn't have to do that, but that's all right. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how much it's worth it for me to do that. But anyways, at least we're not on a plane in Toronto or meeting in Saudi Arabia. Okay, let me see. There's going to be this thing in the Texas Senate. Oh, shit. About the Bitcoin reserve. So I'd kind of like to, take a look at that. But it hasn't started yet. Let me see if I can. But then I have a bunch of articles about what's happening in Argentina and stuff about I got such a good sleep. It was a little chilly again. Oh, nice. Are you happy? You're getting your fence back after Hurricane Milton. Congratulations, Iggy. Oh my gosh. That's so nice. Yes, I have. She's a good girl. She's a really good person. She's a nice person. So yeah, she is. She is. Oh, I'm so happy for you, Iggy. Congratulations. Yay. Oh, it's cold in South Carolina. Ooh, it's nice and chilly. I love chilly mornings. When I lived in Florida, chilly morning was so nice. That sounds so great. Okay, wait. Here we go. So, a couple things on the mind today. Oops. And one is the strategic Bitcoin reserves. She gets it from her mom. I hope so. I don't know all the time, butterflies. Sometimes I feel like I react the opposite of the way she does to things. She's much calmer than I am, and she's much less, she's not like a, kind of person. Anyway, but yeah, she's a good person, and it was just very kind of her. That's a lot to give up really precious time off. She works real hard. But congratulations, Iggy, on the fence. I think that's so great. Okay, so I want to read a couple stories maybe because we've got some Senate stuff today, I think. Where the fuck? What? I can't remember. I'm a little out of it. Hold on, let me just see, because I thought there was some hearings today in the Senate. I just want to make sure we don't miss anything. What? Wait, did they change things? Oh my gosh, do they not have anything today? Okay. Oh, all right. All right, Senate. I hear you. I thought you had some stuff to do today, but I guess not. What about the House? I thought the House didn't either. Okay, you don't either. All right. Okay, fine. That's good. That means we just get to read and read and read and read and read. Good morning. Good morning, Karen. Good fences make good neighbors. I have nice neighbors, but one of them comes into my yard every time I'm out there. No, that's okay. Yeah, people don't need to do that. That's not they don't need to do that. So a couple topics on mine today. First is the sovereign wealth fund. I want to talk a little bit about that. I pulled a couple pieces of stuff that we have. And then in line with sovereign wealth fund, I want to talk about what's happening in Argentina a little tiny bit. And then we will also check in with our friends in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, to find out what the fuck's going on over there. Okay? All right. So first, actually, let me, not first. Hold on. But this Senate thing, this Texas Senate thing is coming up on the Bitcoin reserve in Texas, and I want to start with that. But I have a bunch of stuff to read, too, so we'll read some stuff after. Let me just make sure I'm keeping track of when this fucking thing is gonna... Okay, all right. Organize yourself. Organize yourself. Watch later. Okay, I've got a couple of small videos to start with to warm us up. Na 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 na. Okay, here we go. Actually, this is a great way to start. Okay, hold on. Don't say anything. I don't know who this girl is. Ooh, stop. But I found this piece she was doing on the oh shit. Sorry, hold on. Oh boy, on the Sovereign Wealth Fund. And I think I'm on the wrong place. God damn it. Sorry. Just one of those days. Just one of those days. Trying to do it. Never gonna do it. Never gonna get it. Okay. Oh, you're never gonna get it. No, you're never gonna get it. All right. Never gonna get it. Why are you fucking doing that? God, why do you be so extra? Why are you being so extra? Oh. There we go. This is Trump. This is Trump's plan to create a U.S. sovereign wealth fund. What you need to know. I never went in my backyard until I got a fence after 30 years here. I have a tree swing. Oh, a tree swing. That's so nice. Hi, Muskie. How are you? Good morning, Dino Loungers. Lee, popping in for a minute before a meeting starts for the... Oh, have a good day of meetings, Lee. I'm sorry. Here we go again. All right, here's 9 minutes about the Sovereign Wealth Fund. Let's hope Erin isn't an idiot. Because if Erin's an idiot, I'm going to have to turn her off. Here we go. No, we don't.
And for a lot of us, the first question is, what the heck is a sovereign wealth fund? The next question becomes, how does it work? And really, what's the point? A sovereign wealth fund is a state-owned investment fund that manages a country's financial assets to generate wealth for the future. Now, the key point here is that these funds are generally established using surpluses from government revenues, and these funds themselves tend to hold individual assets. Maybe it's stocks or bonds or real estate, and the idea is that long-term these funds generate an income and that they can help to cover future government expenses or future expenses coming down the road.
Oh,
let's talk about some of these key features of a sovereign wealth fund. These funds are government owned, they're managed by the government or the nation's central bank. They're generally looked at as a long-term investment, so the assets in them are held for the long term with the idea of creating wealth over time. As an individual investor, we could think about it the way we look at brokerage accounts or employee-sponsored retirement plans. We hold assets within these accounts with the intent of holding them for the long term and generating wealth long term.
Do we? Okay.
And in a similar vein, thinking about the individual investor, these funds would be a diversified portfolio holding multiple different asset types. The idea here is to create economic stability, in that you have funds to draw on should a financial need arise, and importantly, they're funded by national wealth, most typically from budget surpluses or excess revenues. And I think that's a really key thing to focus in on,
that's a
especially
really
from the
key
stance
thing to
of the United
focus in
States.
on.
Because
Yes.
how would we fund this fund?
Yeah.
The US currently has $36 trillion of debt. So we don't really have a surplus to speak
Yeah.
of. There are many countries
How's
that
that
have
work?
sovereign wealth funds. Countries like Norway and Saudi Arabia have these types of funds, which are funded by oil and gas revenues.
Right.
China has one of the world's largest sovereign wealth funds, and it's funded through trade surpluses and foreign investments. These surpluses are generated because China tends to export more than it imports, and some of these profits are then directed to this fund, where
So they
they're
have a
put into
unique
investments,
situation.
and long
Okay.
term they can help generate an income. Again, if we think about this on the personal level, rather than having your cash just sitting idly by in, say, a savings account, you invest it. You put that money to work, growing over time and hopefully generating an
growing
income.
over time, not
Within the U.S.
necessarily,
itself, we have
but
a
okay.
state-level wealth fund, the Alaska Permanent Fund.
Okay.
A portion of the money from oil extraction and sales is directed into this fund, where it then gets invested in a diversified portfolio that hopefully grows long term.
I have an
And
idea,
each year,
Iggy. I
a
have a
distribution
different
from the
idea.
fund is distributed to Alaskan residents. And the goal here is to help create economic stability for Alaskan residents. As of 2024, the fund holds over $80 billion in assets. It's run by the state, and historically speaking, residents have received an annual payout ranging from $1,000 to over $3,000 per person. The fund itself is not perfect. There's disagreement in how the money is managed, how it's shared between the government and the residents, but notably,
shared
there has
between the
been
government
less
and the
childhood
residents.
poverty in Alaska because of its distributions.
Really?
So sovereign wealth funds absolutely exist, and they exist with varying degrees of success. And that brings us back to President Trump signing an executive order to create a U.S. sovereign wealth fund, directing the Treasury and Commerce Department to lay out a plan of how this fund would function. And that brings us back to the glaring question of, is this even possible?
Where does the money come from?
At $36 trillion and increasing on a regular basis, I think this brings up some really big and valid concerns about potential funding sources. We could consider that the government already owns assets. Those include land and infrastructure and patents, among many other things. Would they consider selling some of these assets as a way to fund this wealth fund?
Interesting.
I would think that's highly doubtful. And even so, even if they did, that would just be a one-time funding source. It's possible that the government could divert a portion of current revenue streams to a newly established fund, maybe revenues from taxes or tariffs.
But why?
But if we're diverting revenues,
then
that
why
are
aren't we
already
just paying off our shit?
It's going to result in cuts to other programs. Think Social Security, education programs, defense. So ultimately, that seems like a very risky maneuver.
Yeah,
of course,
or impossible.
There's always the idea that a new tax could be levied, whether this is on financial transactions or certain goods or services that already exist within our economy. And a new tax would lead to new revenue streams. A new tax would likely be met with a lot of backlash, and if there were a new tax established, we have to question how much revenue could this tax actually generate. And it's also worth considering that more taxes can, in the long term, impede economic growth. President Trump did hint that TikTok could somehow be placed into this fund. No further details were offered on how that would work. This does kind of hint at seizing foreign assets, which would be very controversial, especially in a diplomatic stage. Another angle that could be leveraged is the U.S. could issue bonds or debt. So investors could buy these bonds, giving money to the government that the government could then invest long term. But keep in mind that these bonds eventually have to be paid back, and the U.S. already has really excessive debt levels. And yes, while President Trump is the one making headlines by signing an executive order to look into creating a sovereign wealth fund, when President Biden was in office, he too explored the concept of developing a sovereign wealth fund. And even though we've had presidents from opposing political parties express a shared interest in a sovereign wealth fund, the reaction from the public has been largely negative. One of the biggest concerns surrounding developing one of these funds is the potential misuse of these funds, and these concerns aren't unfounded, as Malaysia had a sovereign fund that had one of the most infamous cases of corruption, where billions of dollars were funneled into personal accounts of government officials, which they then used to buy luxury goods, luxury homes, and even a yacht. We're already in an environment where there's a lot of mistrust between politics and government, so I don't really think these concerns are baseless. Redundancy is another strong argument. The U.S. already invests heavily in infrastructure and social programs and spends trillions of dollars on national projects within the federal budget. So would another fund just be adding another layer of complexity and yet another government program without any clear strategic purpose? I think this is a pretty strong argument. No matter what you see in the headlines, I think there are some key takeaways that we need to focus on. Any U.S. sovereign wealth fund is clearly in the idea stage. There's no clear funding source and no plan for implementation, and largely public reaction has been negative. The idea of corruption, mismanagement of funds, and just simple redundancy. And keep in mind, our $36 trillion worth of debt are really going to impede any sort of implementation in this type of plan anytime soon. My personal thoughts, any idea of a U.S. sovereign wealth fund are unlikely, impractical, and probably going to be met with a reality check. Our current national debt levels just don't seem to make it possible. There's no clear funding source. Also, consider our current political environment. There's a lot of dysfunction and a lot of conflict. So I think any idea that one of these funds would be established is really just wishful thinking. What are your thoughts? Share them in a comment down below. I post new videos every single week.
Okay, thank you, Aaron. That was very interesting. Yeah, see, I see a lot of potential problems with the I'm trying to get Discord on here, Lee, because I'd love to hear your voice around this. Hold on, let me just see if I can actually make that happen. Shit. It's like, I don't know what I'm doing here. I don't know what I'm doing. Let me see if I can actually get my Discord. I think I can. All right, so this is the voice of Discord. So if you go into voice, Lee, I might be able to bring you up to talk. Oh, you only have 9 minutes. Okay, no worries. But next time, let's figure that out so that you can actually weigh in. I'm going to just make this small. And if people join voice, I can actually bring you on stream, I think. We'll see. We'll leave that there just for shits and giggles. But have a good meeting. I understand. Let me read what Lee said. I wish there was a voice option here. I have some insight on the External Revenue Agency. My lawyer friends think this is this to go after tariffs that go uncollected on foreign companies that act as non-resident importers, money that historically was not pursued due to difficulties collecting in foreign countries. Oh, that makes sense. So that would be part of it. Funds like this are set aside so they grow on their own. Problem is when governments keep busting into the piggy bank to pay for regular expenses. Looking at you, province of Alberta. I think they use Social Security like that now. Let's see. Morning, Carrie. I use your name for food orders and leave messages for home repair stuff. It gets better reaction than Karen. Oh, if that's the case, it's scandalous. That money is for the future. For sure. Yes, absolutely, Lee. We're going to figure that out so that you can get, I'd love to have you be able to weigh in when you want to. Anyone, actually. But yeah, it's really, I find it really, the Sovereign Wealth Fund is disturbing to me. Because it makes me wonder, first of all, about the money laundering capabilities. And then it makes me wonder about, kind of seizure of assets and things like that, and what can happen in a wealth fund. I worry about enrichment of billionaires. That's what I worry about. That this wealth fund just becomes a slush fund and a way to launder tremendous amounts of money. The thing about it is these guys are going to be like, they're looking for ways to get away with shit. And they're not looking for ways. That's the problem, is that not one single approach can be judged on its face in terms of how it is going to serve the American people. Because it really, you can safely assume that it is around how to enrich those within the control of that. I don't know. It's just, Alaska, that sounds great. Do a fund like that. And it's something that generates from the revenue that comes out of that state. I just don't know how you do that. If anyone else were doing this, I might actually take a second look at it and go, oh, okay, all right, I can understand that. But I just don't see responsible adults doing this. And I see only people who are absolutely criminals doing it. So it doesn't really make sense to me. Anyway, but that's just me. So they're supposed to be starting this Texas thing, but then there's these idiots. Everybody's been talking all morning about what's been happening in in Riyadh. I do want to talk about Javier Milei too. There's this text. We're waiting for this Texas Senate hearing. Hold on. Let me just see if I have more. I have more. Yes, I do. Well, what's Texas? Polish President Andrzej Duda speaks following meeting with the U.S. envoy to Ukraine. Okay. Well, you haven't done anything yet. Dang it. Okay, what's my watch later? I have a couple of things on here. I didn't listen to the Russian foreign minister give comments this morning. I don't know if you guys did. Let's see. 2 hours ago. Let me see. Let's play this. Hold on. Yeep, beep, beep, beep. Stop. This is just a minute. I hear the trivia board is starting a sovereign wealth fund. I'm going to be in charge of it. Excellent. Hi, Gal. How are you? Lee, people point to Norway's sovereign wealth fund as the standard. That's because Norway leaves it alone and doesn't dip into it for budgetary expenses, as far as I know. And isn't it generated off of an asset that generates... I mean, like... I understand if the government has, I don't know. I'm not clear on how this thing is funded. I'm just not clear on it. I'm not clear. Aaron, you didn't help me. Not clear. Okay, let me add 2 more things. Hold on. Oh, there we go. I want to add a new one. Yeah. Do that, and then I want to add this thing that I would like to play. Why? Why do you have to be so big? Why? Sorry, I had to sneeze. Okay, here we go. It's just a minute. Just hold on. Everything's okay. Don't worry.
Good morning, Foreign Minister. Are you hopeful? Are you feeling hopeful?
Ukraine was not invited to take part in the talks, which are being hosted in Saudi Arabia. Yeah, they have huge oil and gas revenues. Like, that's their main thing. That's why they have any money. Imagine their surprise. I have a Zoom call with Franklin's ghost to go over strategies. Hi. Okay. I'm not going to touch my mic. Stop it. Why does my microphone keep going in and out?
I'm following you.
Keith Kellogg is an idiot. Oh, I love it, Gal. I love her. Okay. I mean, it keeps going in and out. My microphone keeps going in and out. I don't know why it's happening, and probably gonna never do this again. I don't know why this is happening. Fuck. Just stop it. And then I wanted to hear these guys, but they're probably idiots too.
We did not. We did not set that date, but the 2 presidents talked about meeting and expect to meet.
Can you take us a little bit in the room today? What was the interaction like? How would you characterize the discussions?
It was positive, upbeat, constructive. Everybody there to get to the right outcome, solution-based. We discussed it afterwards. We couldn't have imagined
is that
a better
fucking
result
Witkoff?
after this session. It was very, very solid.
Will you be traveling to Russia again, Mr. Witkoff?
I'm not sure, but we'll make that
Why
determination
aren't you sure?
in the next couple of weeks.
The Europeans.
Why aren't you sure?
The Prime Minister has said the U.S. needs to back any sort of European solution to the war. Is this something that you are willing to commit to?
Well, I think that's something that we'll continue to discuss. We have certainly, again, as a first principle, a European-led security guarantee. We have the president, many of us, as members of prior members of Congress ourselves, have called for the Europeans to continue to contribute to our common defense, to continue to share the burden of NATO defense. We'll continue to point out that while things have improved, starting with President Trump's first term, the fact that a third of our NATO allies still do not contribute the minimum of 2% of their GDP to defense a decade after that we all collectively made that agreement isn't acceptable. We have the NATO summit coming up this June, and we would expect with the type of conflict, the type of warfare and destruction we've seen in Europe, sadly, the last several years, that we have 100% at the minimum, and in fact are exceeding that. So, look, this is a common effort. This isn't just about what the United States is going to continue to contribute and what we are going to continue to ask of the American taxpayer. We all have to make those tough decisions. We all have to contribute to our common defense, and we expect that this to be a two-way street for our European allies. And the fact that both the United Kingdom, France, and others are talking about contributing more forcefully to Ukraine's security, we think is a good thing.
Did you walk away from this meeting convinced the Russians want peace? You said it might take some time to be convinced of that. How are you seeing it now?
I mean, I don't view diplomacy that way. I think diplomacy ultimately is based on actions. It's based on commitments that are kept. So I think I came away today convinced that they are willing to begin to engage in a serious process to determine how and how quickly and through what mechanism can an end be brought to this war. Whether we can ultimately reach that outcome will obviously depend on every side in this conflict's willingness to agree to certain things. So I think it's important to have this meeting because we haven't really had much engagement with the Russians for almost 3 years. And it sets the table for future conversations. How that turns out will be up to the parties and their willingness not just to make commitments, but to live by them. That'll be tested in the weeks to come. But I can tell you again, as I reiterate, President Trump has made it very clear during the campaign he thought this conflict needed to end. He's the only leader in the world that could have started a process that we saw here today, and this process is going to continue.
What are you talking about?
And, when you talk about an
You're not starting a process. You're taking over a country.
It's acceptable to everyone involved.
That's not process.
Ukraine, but also our partners in Europe, and of course the Russian side.
You're siding with Nazis.
I didn't mean to jump in there, but I just wanted to also take a moment, I think on behalf of all of us and the president,
I can't stand white men anymore.
In Saudi Arabia,
I can't.
to thank our hosts for bringing this together, and particularly
I can't.
the conference.
I don't know
Mohammed
what
and
this
his
world
team.
is. I looked at people yesterday, and they looked at me like I was crazy.
They moved
Which
very
I probably
quickly
am.
to be such gracious hosts, and
I don't
we certainly are all
know.
appreciative.
Absolutely.
This thing should be fine. I'm going to take it. I guess I have to take it somewhere and figure out what's wrong. I don't know. I've tried everything. I went on the forums. Nobody has us exactly the same situation I do.
Together to have these conversations. I think it's something.
I think it's the universe actually telling me. It's the universe telling me to stop.
Thank them for doing it, and we hope that they will. I think they've offered, and I believe that they will continue to be helpful in any way they can.
Thanks.
This is dumb, you know? It's like, God, yesterday I was out there and it's like, I'm the only one screaming. I look like a fucking idiot.
Yeah, so let me walk you through the next step is
Lovely, same people came to watch me.
Working through our respective teams.
So nothing I do makes any difference.
Diplomatic missions can function. There's been a series of reciprocal actions taken over the last 10 years that have really diminished our ability to operate in Moscow.
I can't even get my friends to watch.
Their ability to operate in Washington. We're going to need to have vibrant diplomatic missions that are able to function normally in order to be able to continue these conduits. The second is a high-level team, including those who are experts on these topics, the technical side.
And my eye has been watering for 3 days.
Parameters of what an end to this conflict would look like. And on that front, obviously, there's going to be engagement and consultation with Ukraine, with our partners in Europe and others. But ultimately, the Russian side will be indispensable to this effort, and so that process will begin. And then the third is, together with those other two, is beginning to engage in identifying the extraordinary opportunities that exist should this conflict come to a acceptable end, the credible opportunities that exist to partner with the Russians geopolitically on issues of common interest, and frankly economically on issues that hopefully will be good for the world and will also improve our relations in the long term between these two important countries. So all three of those efforts will be happening in conjunction with one another. Obviously, the diplomatic one is one we think we hope to move pretty quickly on, because this involves the treatment of our respective missions. The second one will be difficult, which is
Marco Rubio needs to be hit by a bus. I'm sorry. I'm done. I need him gone. Just go to Miami and go fuck off.
Work together on other geopolitical matters of common interest, and of course, some pretty unique, potentially historic economic partnerships as well. The key that unlocks the door for those opportunities, however, is the end to this conflict.
In terms of when does the high-level team meet? Has there been any date?
There's no date set, but as President Trump is, as you've seen over the last 4 weeks, not patient in terms of getting action. He drives hard. He wants to get things done. He's been wanting to do this, and he's moving very quickly to fulfill the promises he made to the American people when they elected him as our president.
Okay, and then in terms of number one, in the restoration of the diplomatic missions, you'll remember that the first big tit of the tit for tats was after the Skripal poisoning, and the U.S. under one of your predecessors, Mr. Tillerson, expelled.
I think every Senate should have to have like a state Senate YouTube website.
St. Petersburg got closed down by the Russians. You guys closed down the consulate in Seattle, several others. Are those going to reopen?
Well, that's what we're going to be talking about. And but ultimately, again, I'm not going to negotiate or just work on that in public. That's what these channels will be about. But ultimately, what the goal we need to have is we have to have some normalcy in our missions and in their ability to function.
In the main embassies, even.
And in the main embassies,
just the main embassies, regardless of the consulates.
I mean, if our diplomatic channels are broken, it's going to be very difficult to consistently engage on a host of topics, including some unrelated irritants that could derail the broader talks on Ukraine. So there has to be some improvement in the way our missions are able to work and in the environment and space that they're given to operate.
There's
in.
no
So that's
official
something we wanna move
Texas
on
Senate
quickly, and it's
fucking
important to set the
YouTube
table
station
for the
or
other two
channel.
things that we want to do, but I think the key really in all of this is ultimately going to be whether an agreement can be reached with all parties involved on an acceptable resolution to the conflict in Ukraine. Because if that happens, not only will the world be a better place, but I think there will be some pretty unique opportunities to work with them on areas of bilateral geopolitical interest and some very unique economic opportunities. But we have
Hi,
to get the Ukraine
Kat. How
situation
are you,
resolved
dearie?
first in a way that's acceptable to everyone.
Okay, my last one. But does that mean if you get the staffs back to the normal operational level of staffs at the embassies, that you
Yeah,
consider
where
these
were they,
people in
Muskie?
case
Were
of
they
the
downtown?
Crimea annexation to be closed? They're no longer issued?
I should probably just go downtown. I tend not to go downtown because I don't want to be a liability to a protest. But I should probably just go downtown. I was hoping that there was a Texas Senate YouTube channel, but there isn't. That's okay. 7:30. Oh,
to say that President Trump has pledged and intends.
These guys might be repeating, but let me also say this. At 7:30, which is a half hour, about 22 minutes, that's when the Texas Senate is going to start a hearing on establishing a strategic Bitcoin reserve. So I'll go to it at 7:30 in a half an hour. Yeah. Hey, Cat Rex. Cat Rex, one of the most hated people on the streets by chuds. You know what? You're absolutely doing something right, Cat Rex, because you are one of the people they talk about the most, and you literally done nothing to people. That's what cracks me up. You and Sandy Foster are like two of the most hated people by the chuds, and literally, I've known what you've done for like a few years or however long we've interacted together, and literally, you've done nothing to people. Like, you do nothing to people, both of you, Sandy and you literally are not mean, but you're anyway, I just wanted to say that because literally I don't, it cracks me up when everyone's like, oh, I hate Cat Rex. And I'm like, why? She's like complete, and Sandy, I've known Sandy for a couple of years now. They're like perfectly normal people that don't actually like shit on I mean, they shit on people for the right reasons. Yeah, they don't like the truth. I know. Anyway, I just thought that was hilarious, and I want and two Canadians, by the way, two of our favorite Canadians, Cat Rex and Sandy Foster. Anyway, Supreme is South Carolina or Supreme Court? South Carolina. No, South Carolina introduced a new bill to establish doggy-like commission. Oh my God, they're all gonna run after and try and be just like their big, like they love this guy. They love this Elon guy. They love it. And they are literally, oh my God, they fucking, all these chuds, they absolutely adore being controlled. They absolutely adore being controlled. Yeah. Yeah, Cat Rex is Canadian. Yeah, and it's like, I don't know. It just, it cracks me up. Yeah, not sure. But, yeah, that's it. Cat Rex. I don't know why they're so bothered. I love it, though. I love seeing it. It just cracks me up. I'm like, two of the, it's not like you go out of your way to be super nice. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying you're like literally two of them, like you don't go after people. You just observe what's happening. I don't know. Anyway, it's kind of crazy. Yeah, it's chuds. It's chuds. You couldn't be Canadian. TC calls us benign. We are. Yes, we are. Okay. Anyway. Sorry, I digress. Anyway, so at 7:30, in about 15 minutes, we're going to head over to the Texas Senate to hear that kind of bullshit. But right now, I do want to hear this kind of bullshit from these three blind mice.
To keep his promise to do everything he can to bring an end to this conflict.
I probably didn't.
We cannot do that unless we have at least some normalcy in the way our diplomatic missions operate in Moscow and in Washington, D.C. And so we need to work to improve that.
Where am I?
Work with them to see what's possible within that context.
Does that include removing Lavrov from rescinding sanctions that have been imposed?
We're just not at that level of conversation yet.
Oh, really? We're not going to talk about three blind marks?
Topics that'll have to be discussed along the way. They haven't. We haven't even begun that process.
Three blind marks.
Process to talk about those things.
All right. Thank you.
I also need to have a song to sing because yesterday I had to make up songs on the spot and they suck.
The third point is
so I better come up with better songs. I gotta prepare. I'm just too depressed.
Discuss and think about and examine
I don't have any energy to prepare during the day.
Cooperation that could result from an end to the conflict in Ukraine. Obviously, we'd have to see that conflict come to a successful.
God, Marco, you really sold out, didn't you? You used to be like a serious politician, and now you're just a fucking ball sucker.
The four of us who were here today,
Lavrov.
5 of us that were here today, are going to remain engaged.
I saw a bit of him this morning.
It's moving along in a productive way.
What does an enduring and successful end look like? Did you present any proposals to the Russians today?
Well, there are some underlying principles. This needs to be a permanent end to the war and not a temporary end as we've seen in the past. We know just the practical reality is that
when was the temporary end?
Discussion of territory and there's going to be discussion of security guarantees. Those are just fundamental basics. That will undergird and underlie.
Well, you're the one that's actually
discussion. But I think
you're the one that's talking about them.
Part is the president has stated his desire, his determination to end this war, to end
that's
the
not
killing
the point.
That is going on.
No, you're wrong. I get it, Mike. You don't want to talk about it.
goes on and on, month after month after month.
Yeah.
The killing fields
So get
of
what?
eastern
Guess
and
what?
southern Ukraine
Guess
is
what, Mike Waltz?
unacceptable. It is not in the
It is unacceptable, Mike Waltz. And guess what? It could end today if the Russians stopped. Because they're trying to make you forget that the Russians are the one who started this aggression against a sovereign nation. Do not let them make us forget that this war was begun because Russia was the aggressor against a sovereign nation. And how it ends is Russia pulls back. That's how it ends. Otherwise, they go again into Moldova, Transnistria. I don't know. Name your small country, because that's next. Because they'll just soak them up. That's what happens, is because they'll take more knowing that maybe they have to give some back. Oh well, better luck next time. Stop. This is not, you're not dealing with someone who is like, oh, well, is that the case? You don't want me to take, okay, I'll take a little bit. Putin is crazy. He's achieving a lifelong dream of taking territory. I mean, come on. This is not, these men do not represent what America stands for or should stand for, and time after time lets us down. We just watched Malcolm X last night in the Discord. Thanks, for putting Malcolm X on there. It's a great movie. It's a great reminder of what our country is really involved in and capable of. And this is bringing us back to some really dark days. And it is just so craven. It is just so craven. I can't take it. Like, it's just so fucking evil. It's so fucking evil. Yeah. Poland. Poland. Yeah. It's just terrible. And they are continuing to commit war crimes. That's right. I mean, right now, fucking... I'll do the bottle of vodka. I don't know. It's just really crazy to me. And I'm crazy, so it's not exactly a shocker. Malcolm X was a great movie. I can't believe we're going backwards. We're going so far backwards. And, I don't mind pushing ahead, and obviously we'll do whatever we need to make it a more perfect union. But God damn it, I thought we were at least a little out of total darkness and into a pale light, a faint light. But man, we just pushed ourselves right back into the darkness. Musk traveled to Moscow in 2002 to negotiate the purchase of rockets for his fledgling space program, but passed out during a vodka-heavy lunch. The sale failed, but his Russian host gave Musk a bottle of vodka with his likeness superimposed on a drawing of Mars. Musk has long had a fascination with Russia and its space and rocket programs. Walter Isaacson's biography of Musk said the businessman traveled to Moscow, blah, blah, blah. Biden knew. They all knew. And yet here we are. It's true. Let me just make sure. Let's see what this is. Musk's secret. I'm not sure if we read this or not. We probably didn't get to it. Elon Musk, the world's richest man and a linchpin of U.S. space efforts, has been in regular contact with Russian President Vladimir Putin since late 2022. The discussions, confirmed by several current and former U.S., European, and Russian officials, touch on personal topics, business, and geopolitical tensions. At one point, Putin asked the billionaire to avoid activating his Starlink satellite internet services over Taiwan as a favor to Chinese leader Xi Jinping, said two people briefed on the request. Musk has emerged this year as a crucial supporter of Donald Trump's election campaign. La 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 la. I have a bunch of stories about his contracts too. Thank you, Gal, for this. I'm gonna bookmark that. I have a interesting. That article was 2 weeks before the election, and it barely made the news rounds. I know. Oh, I'll check back later. Off to my Zoomy Zoom. Have such a great Zoom. Oh, I think that's so great. There was a Discord movie last night. It was hosted by Oomph, so I apologize. I didn't put out like public notices about it. I'll do that next time. But yeah, we watched Malcolm X. It's such a good movie, and it's such a, I don't know. We really don't remember our history. I mean, that's not true. Forgive me. That's not what I meant to say. It's just striking to me that we find ourselves in this place after we know and we acknowledge and we're aware that we're no problem. I'm on your team. I'm always on your team, gal. You can volunteer me for anything. But I think that we have these lessons all the time, and we have a consciousness of these lessons, and we look back on the way people have been treated in this country, and we shudder at how horrible it is that people have been treated. And yet, I don't know, that doesn't feel like enough, right? So it's just, I'm not sure what the right answer is, but it's just, I have a desire that I want people to really feel heard right now, and just like that we move in the same direction, but we don't have to all be the same. You know what I mean? I don't know. Don't forget about the Deutsche Bank loans and the money laundering through the NRA. Gosh, yes. Trump is full of it. Yeah, he's beholden to Putin. Well, and Putin influenced, Putin to me is like the information broker, right? He's like the influence games. He knows how to push all of those buttons. That's his specialty. He's KGB, right? That's his background. He knows how to influence and fuck around and be insurgent and all those things. So, hi, Paul J. So, and he's been a criminal for a long time. And so, yeah, it's like he may not, Peter Thiel has as evil a stake in this as Vladimir Putin. It's like a lot of these guys, no one is the one single linchpin of this. It's that we have a few people within that kind of oligarchy that are absolutely pushing us over the edge, because then it's a playground. Then it's a fire sale. There's so much money in this government, in this country, and they're just looking for ways to mine it all and take it and carve it up amongst the donors. And that's what drives me crazy. So yeah, we should know. He thought no one wanted to go to Mars with him until he went to Russia.
Actually, I went to Russia 3 times to look at buying a refurbished ICBM. Because that was the best deal. And I can tell you it was very weird going there in 2000, late 2001, 2002, going to the Russian rocket forces and saying, I'd like to buy 2 of your biggest rockets, but you can keep the nuke. That's a lot more. They thought I was crazy, but I did have money, so that was okay. And after making several trips to Russia, I came to the conclusion that actually my initial impression was wrong about because my initial thought was, well, that there's not enough will to explore and expand beyond Earth,
Carla,
and have
good
a Mars
question.
base and that kind of thing. But I came to the conclusion that was wrong. So I actually went to Russia.
Yes, we know. Grant. I like Grant. Any sign of intelligent life? No, just Ted Cruz. Grant, I think you're funny. We still don't have any Texas Senate. The Texas Senate is not doing it. What was I going to say? I'm just hiding in the bushes. Hit the like. Hi, Cash. How you doing? What's so fucking funny about this idiot? I don't know. Here's the thing, it was kind of amazing to me. I think generally yesterday when I was out in front of the Tesla dealership in Santa Monica, people, I think, generally agreed. Oh yeah, Grant. Yeah, he is funny. um, I think most people agreed with me, and what I was saying, but I don't know. Yeah, get out of the bushes. Come out of the bushes and into the light. I do want to hear. This is 17 minutes, and we have something happening in 17 minutes. All right, I'm just going to put this up. God, what is wrong with you? What's wrong with you? Okay. Oh boy. Okay, we'll start. I don't know. What's wrong? Vladimir Lavrov. Oh.
First of all, we'd like to express our gratitude to the leadership of Saudi Arabia for giving us this opportunity to hold this meeting between Russian and American representatives. We express this gratitude personally to Heir Prince Mohammed bin Salman, when together with Yuri
it's if a
Ushakov,
scrotum was a human. Iggy.
we were at his reception, devoting about an hour to discussing
Looks
our
like a
bilateral
scrotum.
ties, about the importance of ensuring, if not complete agreement in the world, which is impossible, but at least readiness
Interesting,
of great
Karen.
superpowers in any situation to maintain
Yeah,
a
I didn't get
normal
a sense of
professional
like
dialogue,
complete support.
trying to be heard and hear.
The homeless,
And
there's two
take lessons
unhoused
from what is
people
happening,
that yelled at
prevent
me, which I
conflicts and
understand because I'm
crises.
yelling.
This is the position
So.
of the Heir Prince,
I get that.
a position that was essentially repeated during our meeting with Marco Rubio, who in the beginning underscored the principal importance that every country be guided by its own national interests. A statement that we completely agreed with. Of course, those national interests are never always going to coincide, but when they differ, it's important to regulate them and discuss and prevent the provocation of any military confrontation or any other confrontation. But when
yeah.
those national interests align,
Hey, bitch,
and we need to
you're
do
the one who's doing
everything
it.
to unite efforts on these tracks
This guy needs
for
to
the sake of mutually
rapture
beneficial
too.
projects, both
He's
in the
overdue.
geopolitical sphere and in economic affairs. So the conversation was, I think, very useful, very valuable. We didn't just listen to each other, but we heard each other, and I have all reasons to believe that the American party now has a better understanding of
Oh,
our
really?
position.
Oh, you think the
That we
Americans have a
based on
better
new-
understanding? Okay.
Numerous speeches by President Putin,
What does that mean?
and we had this opportunity to express it once again. The
What does that
agreements
mean?
that we achieved, number one, probably the most urgent one, and not the most difficult one, to ensure that ambassadors of Russia in America and America in Russia are assigned as soon as possible.
What?
And the obstacles
Rapture faster.
that the Biden administration
Get
built
off
for the last
this
4 years,
earth.
obstacles in the way of our
Yeah,
diplomatic
Lavrov's a
missions,
real waste of carbon.
seriously hampering their work, sending out our diplomats, something that we had to respond to,
Yeah.
seizures of our real
See inner
estate,
circle of SVR and
many other
FSB. Yeah.
things, and bank transfers that are limited. So we have agreed that our deputies, as soon as possible, will agree on a meeting to look into the need to remove those artificial.
Okay. What he just said is what he heard in that meeting. This is Lavrov. This is the Russian spokesperson. What he heard from his American counterparts was that they would look into lifting the sanctions. Russia is winning. And I guess chuds don't care about Ukraine. I get that. I don't understand how they don't understand how geopolitics works, but that's neither here nor there. That's it. This guy is completely delivering on his bill, his invoice from 2015 on. He literally is paying his bill to Putin right now for all of the stuff that happened since whenever, time immemorial. I mean, if you ask Craig Unger, who's brilliant, Trump has been on the payroll and beholden, whether he knew it or not, Trump was beholden to the Russians since the 80s. So that was important. Thank you, Gal. You're right. You're not here anymore, but you shared this with us because you knew this was an important thing that he was saying and telling us what has happened.
Barriers and obstacles in the way of embassies and other establishments of Russia and America.
They really did it, man. This insurgency worked like a motherfucking charm. Wow. We're dumber than I thought.
Systemically on removing them to put an end to these difficulties that hamper the progress of our normal relationships. The other thing
well, that's what they're supposed to do. Okay, they're supposed to make you change your behavior.
Soon there will be a process formed on the Ukrainian settlement.
Fly butterflies, do good on the chores. Go slow. Take them.
Washington. And this project, and as soon as we know the name and position of the American representative, we, as President Putin agreed with President Trump, will immediately name our representative here. And the third thing,
so we're also that what he just talked about was also that the Americans look ready to resume diplomatic relations with the Russians, which means we have people in country and they have people here and all that kind of stuff. It's normalizing relations, and they gave nothing up. The Russians have given nothing. Do you understand what this is? The Russians have given nothing. The Russians are getting everything.
To create conditions as the settlement process unfolds.
Mike Lindell is selling a replica of his cross necklace.
To resume fully and expand.
Oh my God! I think I'm the one that's out of step.
There was a great interest that we shared towards resuming consultations on geopolitical issues, including
maybe it's a good thing I learned Russian. I could probably pick it up again.
Where both the United States and Russia have interests. And there was great interest in removing artificial obstacles.
God, artificial obstacles.
Beneficial economic cooperation.
Oh my God!
The discussion of economic aspects of our today's meeting.
Russia. Oh, well, that's it. I don't know.
Head of the
Russia owns us.
Foundation of Direct Investments, Kirill Dmitriev, was present there, and he
Russia, a dying empire.
Issues that could be
freedom
soon resolved to the benefit of Russia and the United States alike. So please, your questions.
My God. I know, Badger, I hate this. I just fucking hate this.
There have been different estimates, and I would like to ask, on what track are our positions currently the closest? Have you managed to lay the foundation for a presidential meeting? And what are the next steps? What will be your next steps? Meetings.
I know, I do need to pick it up.
And the State Secretary said that concessions will be required from all parties. As for matters that we reached mutual understanding on, it doesn't necessarily mean bringing positions closer, but we have practically agreed that we need to once and forever solve the problem with functioning of our diplomatic missions. And as for our dialogue on international affairs, we have expressed our mutual commitment to finding specific solutions. As for the Ukrainian, the subject
Does
of
this
Ukraine,
sound like someone's? Yeah, it's actually. Yeah, I need to read
the Americans
Brati
will go
Karamazov.
in to appoint their representatives. We will do the same. And after that, consultations will begin, and they will be
Oh, shit.
regular.
We're going to start a hearing. Hold on. Shut up, Lavrov. Shut up. Ёб твою мать. That means go fuck your mother. That's the worst thing you can say to a Russian. Ёб твою мать. Ёб твою мать. Go fuck your mother. That's what it is. All right, here we go. Sorry, it has to be RSBN.
Okay. Thank you, Chairman Schwertner and Senators. My name is Don Schwent. I'm the Controller for Enterprise Mobility. We do business as Enterprise, Alamo, and National Car Rental, and also we operate the Enterprise Truck Rental Division. I'm here in support of Senate Bill 72. Thank you, Dean Zaffarini, for filing this bill. We support Senate Bill 72 because consumers and businesses that rent from us have asked for collision damage waivers, also known as CDWs, for longer than 30 days. And this bill allows them that option. And compared to historical trends, 30-plus day rentals are happening more frequently. It is a mystery to our team why the tax code and the business and commerce code definitions do not line up. Both were written many years ago. We certainly agree with Dean Zaffarini. This is a simple definition change, and although it's simple, for our customers that desire the protections of a collision damage waiver for longer than 30 days, it is very impactful. To address the demand of the traveling public in Texas, we support this bill, and thank you for considering it. At this time, I could answer any questions.
Members, any questions? Hearing none, thank you. Anyone else wish to testify on Senate Bill 72? Hearing none, public testimony is closed. We're going to leave this bill pending. I'm being advised that the live stream is now up, so I'm going to turn the gavel over to Vice Chair King and ask him to recognize me on Senate Bill 21.
Okay, good morning. The chair lays out Senate Bill 21 and recognizes the author, Senator Schwertner, to explain the bill.
Thank you, Vice Chair King. Members, this bill, Senate Bill 21, creates the Texas Strategic Bitcoin Reserve, sending a clear message regarding the decades-long spendthrift stewardship of our country by the federal government. Individuals and investment firms have reacted to excessive spending at the sovereign level by seeking alternatives to fiat currency. These alternatives have historically included gold and land, but now include, to many, cryptocurrencies. Bitcoin, referenced as digital gold by the United States Treasury, has become a recognized asset in the financial markets. Besides individuals holding Bitcoin directly or through custodianship on exchanges, multiple publicly listed SEC-regulated Bitcoin ETFs are now traded on U.S. stock exchanges. Bitcoin offers unique advantages in the digital era due to its limited supply and decentralized nature, in contrast to the federal government, which has an unlimited printing press and centralized control of the currency. Senate Bill 21 creates the Texas Strategic Bitcoin Reserve as a special fund managed by the Comptroller of Public Accounts. The bill allows Texas to diversify our investment approach, participate competitively in the digital financial economy, and leverage the benefits of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. Under Senate Bill 21, the Comptroller is authorized to acquire, exchange, sell, manage, and retain investments of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies with a market capitalization of at least $500 billion.
Those are real employees.
The bill also allows for public participation through donations of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. All assets in the reserve will be managed under the same prudent investor standard currently
There's nothing prudent about crypto.
ensuring responsible financial stewardship. Legislative approval is required before the comptroller may transfer money from the reserve. The comptroller may contract with qualified providers to assist in the administration and management of the reserve, including a custodian to assist in the safeguarding of assets. The bill also creates a strategic Bitcoin Reserve Advisory Committee to provide cryptocurrency investment expertise and recommendations to the comptroller. And lastly, the Senate bill requires a biennial report be submitted to the legislature and published online for public access. Thank you. We have the comptroller and his team here today. Thank you, Comptroller Hager, as well as a representative for invited testimony from the Texas Blockchain Council, President Lee
Why
Bratcher.
do women do this with their extensions?
They are called
Why do
up,
they do this?
I'd
Why
like
do
to
they
take any
touch their
questions, but I'd
extensions
like
like
to
this?
first point you to the
It really
two
bothers
pieces
me.
of paper I put in front of you. One of them is a map of the United States showing the 32 states that have filed similar legislation. In addition, at the national level, there has been a great interest in this bill.
Do they all have to wear black
at the
turtlenecks?
presidential level, with the president
I'm very confused.
announcing a presidential working group on digital asset markets.
Is this
to
like on
study the
set when
strategic,
everybody who's like crew has to
national digital
has to wear
asset
black?
stockpile? And then, of course, as y'all are probably aware, the Treasury Secretary and Commerce Secretary are also big proponents of digital assets and cryptocurrency. So
What's
it's
that?
a quickly
Huh?
evolving and very obviously interesting and pertinent issue.
I'm sorry
in
about
particular
RSVN.
because of, again, the spendthrift ways, profligate ways of our national government under both Republicans and Democrats, to be quite frank. The other piece of paper I would like to draw your attention to, and I'll read it as for those of you who do not have it in front of you, but it talks about our spending at the national level, our deficits, and our interest costs. In fiscal year 2024, the federal government spent $6.9 trillion, accounting to 24% of the nation's gross domestic product, according to the June 2024 estimate of the Congressional Budget Office. In 2024, the federal government collected $4.92 trillion in revenue, a shortfall of approximately $2 trillion. This is made up of money from a variety of sources, including taxes, custom duties, and national park admission fees. Alternative. Growing debt, in addition to the rise in interest rates over the past couple of years, has significantly increased the cost of federal borrowing. In 2024, interest costs on the of evaluating the best performing asset of the last 10 years with a 60% CAGR, cumulative annualized growth rate of 60%.
I know.
over the last
People
10 years.
play with,
That's
I guess I play
astounding
with my
return.
hair too. I just
All
don't have
financial
long hair
assets
like
have
that.
appreciation. And
I'm sure it's
also
just me. I'm
obviously
just jealous.
diminished, and loss of value. But that said, I think it's a worthwhile discussion. It's a message, a very clear message to our national government. And I
Sir, you're
recognize
talking
and
about an
appreciate the work you're doing
unregulated
with the Doge
asset.
Committee.
Okay?
But in the end, we are spending
Fuck.
entitlements, dedicated spending, required spending, amounts that our children and our children's children will be unable to pay. And as Texas, we need to position
My
Texas
God. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
best course
So many dumb people.
with all possibilities.
I mean,
regarding
I'm not smart
solvency
enough to run this
long-term
country.
to meet the needs at the state level
Either.
that we have been entrusted and are obligated to meet. So with that, that's the background of the bill, the reasons why I filed it, and I'll be happy to answer any questions. We can certainly ask the invited testimony to come up. If we'd like to do that first, I'm open to take any arrows.
Members, any questions, or do you want to go ahead and call up Comptroller? Senator Menendez.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Chairman Schwartner, I have to agree with you. I mean, I think it's long overdue that we take the tremendous amount of funds that are sitting in this economic stabilization.
It's usually
fund,
with like
otherwise known as rainy
extensions,
day
to be
fund, and
honest.
find a
I don't
way
really
to
know. It
put
might
that
be
money
just
to
an
work
extension
on
thing.
behalf of the taxpayers. My concerns are just the safety and the security of the investments. And I was noticing that this, for some reason, this advisory committee, you didn't put it inside Chapter 2110, which is the state advisory committees, which are required to make a report to the Legislative Budget Board. And I was just curious as to why.
That's the way it was advised to be written by alleged counsel. There is a report required. It is under the direction and supervision of the comptroller. This is supposed to be as transparent as possible. There is a conflating there, Senator. This does not take money from the ESF in any manner. The ESF also, what we did, I think 4 years ago, allows investments outside of just fixed dollar investments.
Right.
And so the comptroller can speak more eloquently about it, but there has been a significant appreciation of the money of the ESF beyond just money put in by severance taxes, but actually by money that has grown, money on our money inside the ESF.
Correct.
This is a brand new initiative, a reserve that if the legislature so sees fit, we can appropriate directly money through the budgeting process in a transparent manner into the reserve. In addition, we can take donations by individuals, companies that want to participate in the reserve in the sense of individuals believing that it's the future of currencies. Or companies.
You know
that
what? Beta was the future of video too, until it wasn't.
Whether they're miners or exchanges that believe also in their industry and also.
Oh my God! Okay, I have a story for you, sir. Let's.
To the reserve
wait. Where's that story?
And kickstart it.
We're gonna have. I have a lot of articles
Bitcoin could go
to
zero,
share with you,
or it could go to
after this.
$1 million or 2 million or 5 million. I don't know. I don't think anyone knows. I do know that if we continue to spend on a federal level like we are, the dollar will continue to lose purchasing power.
Why?
And people will look to alternatives.
I don't think that's actually
gold,
true, sir.
That's land.
Do you understand how the economy is working right now?
Or whether it's
Maybe you don't.
Cryptocurrencies or a mix
Maybe you
of those.
don't.
We need to have all options open. Right now, the comptroller, for instance, in the ESF can purchase directly securities. There are funds such as the TRS and ERS funds that can purchase land or purchase directly companies. So there's a wide variety of assets that are currently allowed in some of our funds. This would be the first direct cryptocurrency reserve that they would be allowed to purchase cryptocurrencies that have at a total marketable market cap of over $500 billion. The only one currently in that range is Bitcoin, which I think has $1.7 trillion market cap. I don't know what gold's is. Someone probably knows that out there. I think it's 3 or 4 trillion of the total market cap of gold, but someone's going to have to correct me on that. That testifies. So it's a thought. It's a alternative. It's also a specific signal to our federal government that is being echoed by many other states. That federal government, you can't continue to spend like this and expect our country to continue to be as prosperous as it has in the past.
Yeah, no, definitely have to agree with that. I think we have quite a bit of money in the ESF fund. I think I don't know what limitation. I know we had a limitation on how much can be invested in the ESF. I don't recall what that amount is. We'll ask the comptroller, but I think possibly allowing him to diversify that portfolio a little bit and maybe increase. We'll listen and see, but I'm just concerned about taking GR dollars and investing them. But I like the donation part and the other parts that you have in the reserve. So look forward to hearing the testimony. Thank you, Chairman.
I will mention, I believe the portion of the ESF that can be invested in any SEC listed security, and he's going to correct me on this, but that could include the various ETFs that are Bitcoin ETFs, which have extremely high volume. IBIT and FBTC are two of the larger ones, Fidelity's and the iShares one. But and that's also the same with ERS and TRS. They, however, have chosen not to invest up to this time in those type of securities. They've been listed maybe a year and a half or 2 years, and they've already assumed massive volume on the exchanges.
Senator Johnson.
Yes, thank you. Chairman Schwertner, it's actually my very first campaign when I was a little baby aspiring senator. One of the things I talked about was the limitations on the comptroller's ability to invest money in the Economic Stabilization Fund. And I think it was that session that actually we did loosen up those rules. I'm aware, and I do look forward to some edification on the subject as to what the limitations are. But I do have some concerns with the move. I also understand that the signal factor here, I assume that it's a small amount, $21 million, because you're trying to establish a platform for future decisions, not make a big financial commitment at this point. Is that right?
Well, the bill does not actually have a spending amount. That would be done in a rider in the budgetary process.
I thought I saw somewhere $21 million. I might have dreamed it. Did I?
Maybe that's your staffer's notes.
It could well be. Why are we establishing?
It is something I am pursuing, is an active allocation appropriation. But again, that's a different committee, the Finance Committee and Appropriations Committee, that then are voted on by the entirety of as to whether or not a direct appropriation is appropriate by the legislature at this time into a newly formed fund. I think it should. We're going to
what scale?
If we're going to actually make the reserve, we should go ahead and fund it with something to show that we have an interest in participating in the digital currency world.
What kind of scale are we talking about? $1 billion, $1 million?
21 million is there.
21 million.
Yeah.
Okay, so somewhere that came from somewhere.
And then again, if you that sounds like a lot, and it is obviously a lot.
Oh,
but
it sounds like a little.
On a relative basis to our $300+ billion budget, all funds in, it's not a pronounced amount.
I agree. It sounds symbolic, like not an actual investment. But as you just stated, we presently could, as a state,
then what is the point
in cryptocurrency within whatever constraints there are on the comptroller's ability?
You can't do it in the Treasury, of course, as say in fixed dollar numbers. But the ERS, TRS, and the comptroller, I believe, will verify the portion of the ESF that can be invested in certain types of securities. I believe any SEC regulated security is open, but he'll have to clarify the percentages and whether or not what I just said is absolutely correct.
Okay, and forgive my ignorance. Page 3, line 3 establishes the reserve outside of the state treasury. Structurally, why do we put it outside the state treasury?
I think all those funds that are managed by the comptroller
Argentina President Javier.
Treasury. The treasury is basically the checking book of the state of Texas.
And does that mean that it would not be subject to
the ESF, for instance, is outside the state treasury, I believe.
And would it be vulnerable?
We should probably bring him up to answer this question.
Would it be vulnerable, like so many other of our funds, to being held hostage to budget certification purposes?
I don't know that answer.
All right, well, we'll check that one out too. Preview to witnesses coming up. The thing that actually gives me the most concern about this is a phrase that we see in almost all of our funds.
I don't understand it, but I know it's bullshit.
People can just, out of the goodness of their own hearts, deposit money into the account. Who would possibly want to do that other than somebody? Step back for a second. The beauty of cryptocurrency is that it's not run by any government. It's just free-flowing capital. And once the state of Texas puts its imprimatur on there, and somebody who might be worth
beta was real. That's true.
Decides to throw $10 billion into the state's crypto fund, and they happen to own a crypto operation, they're like creating the market for themselves. Doesn't sound all that charitable. They might
I know. I have some stuff to talk about Milei afterwards, Paulina.
How do we guard against that kind of bad behavior? I would say if we're going to do this, and I recognize cryptocurrency is here and it may be a prudent state investment, but I do not want the state to be a tool for an investor. I would close the thing off. No private investment, only legislatively appropriated funds.
Yeah, I think your point is well taken. I've thought of that obviously myself. Lee has some comments about basically front running by goosing the fund, elevating the asset price,
sniping,
and selling out, right?
Yeah,
there
sniping.
are ways to manage that potential.
See Argentina.
There are rules that would be placed.
We're going to Argentina after this. I'm going to show you exactly what happens when a government invests in Bitcoin.
Structural standpoint when devising the parameters of the fund.
I appreciate it, and of course you have thought about it, and I appreciate the concern there. I'm so concerned about it. I would still advocate for having nothing because I can't imagine any altruistic move of dumping money into this fund. If
Texas says, hold my Florida.
Lots of homeless shelters and other things you could put your money
Texas
into.
says, hold my U.S.
State
government.
crypto fund.
I
Is the
don't call it
definition.
altruistic. I think it's certainly individuals, companies that have a direct involvement.
I'm all
because they
about
are
new
minors,
technology.
like,
I'm all about whatever.
Mara, for instance.
I just know that this is not
there's a whole host
being
of
done with any kind of
or Coinbase,
thought
one of the big
about
exchanges.
guardrails.
See, well, this is, a sovereign entity, a state, wanting to participate and recognize in a recognition, really, as the president did at his desk when he announced the formation of the various.
It's time for one of the
entities that he
stronger
has.
joints. It's time for one of the 55% THC joints. That's what it's time for.
Currency into the realm of cryptocurrency.
I'm not sponsored
and
by
that
any
recognition
of
being
these
by
products,
sovereign
but I
entities now,
use
not just
them.
by individuals participating in the crypto.
So I'll break out the champagne, if you will. This is my version of champagne, I guess.
I appreciate the whole thing, and I will keep an open mind, and we'll talk all of us more in the process. But I do have a great concern with billionaire tech bros owning branches of government. I don't want to.
Yeah. Hi, Warren. How are you, darling?
I share your concern.
How are they
I don't
going to
think
afford this pyramid
Some of them are my
scheme?
friends. I just don't want them owning the government.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. He's not
Members,
kidding.
anyone else? Okay. Chair opens up for public testimony on Senate Bill 21. Chair calls Comptroller Hager and Lee Bratcher. Comptroller, will allow you ask you to go first.
Sounds good.
Welcome back.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Members, good to see everybody. I appreciate Senator Schwartner quickly said, any arrows come my way. If not, we'll call the controller. I appreciate that. That was duly noted what you said. So, good morning, Chairman Schwartner, members. For the record, I'm Glenn Hager, Texas Controller of Public Accounts. I'm happy to be here today to discuss Senate Bill 21, which creates the Texas Strategic Bitcoin Reserve at the Texas Treasury and Safekeeping Trust Company, where I serve as the sole shareholder and director in my capacity as controller. The trust company currently invests and manages more than $105 billion in state assets across multiple portfolios with different return and liquidity objectives. Investments include approximately $9 billion in long-term endowment assets that return investment gains of $745 million in 2024. It also includes investment portfolios with immediate liquidity profiles like the Economic Stabilization Fund and the SWIFT. Combined, these funds had balances of $25 billion at the end of 2024 and generated more than $1.1 billion in investment gains that year. The trust company also manages the Texas Treasury Pool account, which averages $79 billion, generated nearly $3.9 billion in investment returns in 2024. Investments include cash equivalent funds such as the Treasury Pool and separately managed portfolios, including multiple long-term endowments. These portfolios are managed in accordance with the Prudent Investment Standard, which is a legal standard that requires trustees, the trust company in this case, to act with the highest standard of care when managing those investments. This helps ensure that investments for each of these portfolios are appropriate given the unique purpose and applicable distribution requirements. These conservative management practices for the investment of taxpayer dollars have furthered the trust company's efforts to grow the state's assets over time. However, technology is evolving, the investment landscape is shifting. As a prudent investor, we are always paying attention to these developments. There is interest in both the public and the private sector in exploring investments outside their traditional opportunities in ways that may help protect and preserve the state's assets over the long term. Cryptocurrency, Bitcoin most notably, has emerged as an option for institutional investors to consider as part of a diversified portfolio, particularly since the SEC approved spot Bitcoin exchange traded funds, ETFs, as we all know, in January of 2024. Recently, the president and approximately 20 other states have declared their interest in establishing digital asset reserves across the nation. This shift represents significant movement in how governments are approaching cryptocurrency, with many viewing Bitcoin as potentially a hedge against inflation and a way to better diversify their portfolio holdings. Texas obviously prides ourselves on being visionary. We have led the way in technologies like fracking in the oil and gas sector, and through the portfolios that we manage, we are early investors in companies that are transforming the defense industry, aerospace, and space exploration, artificial intelligence, and blockchain technology. These companies are redefining national security with AI-powered system, autonomous platforms, or strengthening security through development of new technologies, leading space exploration through breakthroughs in aerospace companies, or pioneering large language models. In the blockchain and digital innovation sector, we are investing around decentralized finance, AI-driven blockchain applications, and digital identity security. Our office is also responsible for the nation's first and only state-managed bullion depository. Looking forward on the horizon,
Oh my God, you guys
Texas
have all the
can be
bullion?
expected to play a role in such bold
Damn, that's why we can't make any
technological
dishes.
initiatives as
Yeah,
AI,
obvious
space
must mean something else in
exploration, quantum
Texas.
computing,
I'm sure that it
pioneering
does,
a
actually. Good point.
strategic Bitcoin reserve is a natural step for
All right,
Texas where
BRB.
innovation ideas are nurtured and pursued. My office has worked with the senator, your office, as well as to ensure that the reserve can be administered in a manner consistent with our prudent investment philosophy while diversifying the state's investment portfolio. And we believe this bill takes a measured approach to managing a potentially volatile asset, a critical requirement when investing taxpayer dollars. This concludes my presentation, and as always, happy to answer questions that you may have.
Members, any questions?
I do.
Yes, Dean?
Thank you. Comptroller.
Yes,
thank you,
ma'am.
Mr. Chairman. Comptroller, what level of funding would you recommend, or would you recommend at least a minimum?
Yeah, good question. So let me just real quick to answer, as was talking about earlier, we have the current ability to invest. We have started looking at, is this a potential part of our portfolio of the different endowments that we may have and different funds that we manage. And so we're moving in that direction. Part of those were questions on regulatory certainty, and so therefore, as responsible for taxpayer dollars, my point is we're kind of leaning in those directions. I think it's important to take kind of that first manageable step, not, let's invest the entire ESF, as an extreme example, or all of the endowments, because you have to look at it as holistically. And so therefore the point being is I don't have an exact dollar amount to give you today, but I do think if you take this step, it's important to take a step and let's manage and lean into this over time. So I don't have an exact dollar amount.
Or a minimum even?
No, ma'am.
Thank you. Are there any safeguards you would recommend for this legislation?
So one is just giving us the flexibility. There has been some discussions in some areas that we shall hold this for an exact amount of term or dollars. Well, personally, I think that flexibility allow us to do our job. And essentially, if that's holding it, we can upscale and downscale over time. So I just think having the flexibility is imperative. It's more than anything else.
The bill also establish an advisory committee. What makeup of that committee would you foresee or would you recommend?
Yeah, so one, kind of in some other versions that were out there, whether you as legislators would be on the advisor, and there are things in the Constitution called separation of powers. And so therefore, I didn't think anyone wanted to give up their duties and responsibilities as legislators. So therefore, the point is we have advisory committees. Obviously, if leadership wants to appoint advisory, but I always suggest that we have people who have skill sets like I do on my investment advisory board. We have an advisory board. I appoint that advisory board. But say, for example, there are people who are in it that come with different skill sets in investments, whether that's in universities, whether that's in families, whether that is in accounting. That side of it to make sure everything is tended to on the accounting side. So
What's
we
the
have
families
kind of a wider
thing?
group of people that come with different lenses and can help me and my team see it things from different angles. So expertise is more than anything.
I'd be interested in seeing their success in managing their state reserve. That'd be interesting.
Good morning.
Good morning.
What, for those of us who want more clarity, what do donations look like? How are those invested?
Yeah, so right now,
what the
we
fuck?
don't have the ability to bring in donations to receive donations.
Aw, I
and
am
to
wishing you
invest
luck,
those.
Paul
That's a
Langan.
component of this legislation.
I'm sending love for
Originally,
mom.
I think it was
Okay,
several years
sending
ago,
love
if
to
I
your
recall
mama.
correctly, we were asked on
Love
whether
the
we would
mamas.
just receive donations in and of itself.
I know. I'm confused too,
Personally,
Oren.
I had a hedge against just a simple donation system because I didn't want it to be as though Glenn Hager, the controller of the state of Texas, is moving the market. I think the state should play a role in this. Obviously, when it comes to donations, there are some other. I'm not saying we shouldn't have them. It's just I have a certain few things that we have to look at, and so therefore we can invest that whatever mechanism you want us to. Then we will invest those just like we do the overall pool.
So your office wouldn't be.
How is Liza Minnelli on this?
Kind of a return on their investment. I'm thinking
I think really it would be if it is a donation to the state, then therefore that is coming to Texas. That is for us to manage after that.
Okay.
That is not something that I'm going to give you a rate of return, such
What?
as say, for example, with 529 education accounts that we manage today. Obviously, we are managing those for people for the education of their children in the future. So this would be different, if I understand.
So, and that's what I wanted to clarify.
And so therefore, we have that flexibility.
If it's a donation, no one ever expects to get anything back.
Correct.
What?
And that's what I wanted to make sure I understood well.
And I think it's essentially because there are a significant number of people that
I don't know. I don't really know what's happening right now.
Chairman laid out that this is a hedge, this is a next step.
It's Liza with a Z, not Lisa with an S.
They're committed enough that they would be willing to donate.
Okay. Thank you, Mr.
I'll take away from the chairman's words.
I'm losing
Just to
my
further
marbles.
clarify
I
and
can't.
Shed some light on donations. Page 5.
Yeah, let's shed some
lines
light.
6 through 12.
I think I'm gonna have
It
to
does
read
allow the
this thing.
comptroller to require information as well as have. and
I don't
may
understand
return,
this at all.
Or reject any donation. So there are parameters. that
Oh,
will be set
okay.
by the
Oh, okay.
comptroller's
Well, we
office when
can
it
tell
comes to any
people, no, we don't want your
You know,
money.
I'm not.
Don't worry.
I'm not dead set on donations. I think it's
Yeah.
reasonable because I think people are very interested.
Oh,
as you
because
can see,
otherwise,
as
how
I've
are we
seen
going to
on
launder
social
the
media,
money?
As obviously the president
Hello?
has seen.
If we
when
do
he
that.
established this-
Hi,
when he
sweetheart.
established this
Hi,
as a-
Lee.
this, presidential.
Well, my computer
committee
updates.
regarding
Yes.
the national, strategic national
Sometimes those come in handy.
cryptocurrency reserve. So
Donations. Money
donations
laundering?
are
How are we gonna
affirmation
launder money?
by individuals, by companies that they believe in the validity of digital assets.
She did sing it, Carly. You missed it.
They're one way they can.
There was a band behind
to
it.
the extent allowed.
Oh my God, my eye just won't stop watering. Don't forget to tip your state senator, governor, and Supreme
Chairman,
Court.
just for clarification,
Fuck, man.
for the members, something that
Oh, I
my
love
team is
those
working with
boots.
the chairman
Okay,
on
but
this
these boots
is
are
that to make a
everything
point,
right
why would
now.
we have the ability to reject
These
certain
boots are everything. Look at those
that
boots.
individual, that company, not that
Hot
their
cha
intent
cha
was,
cha.
but they may have tax issues before. this.
Hot mama.
And so therefore, maybe there's an
I'm gonna have to
ongoing
get a pair of
audit, maybe
boots.
there's an ongoing, and so therefore, you want
That's
to
what I
make
probably
sure
should get.
that for everybody's purpose, those that
I
are
should get some
donating,
cowboy boots. Just the
state that is
tip.
receiving,
Yeah, just give me
that
the.
it
Never
all
mind.
looks as though there's not conflict whatsoever. So that's why we ask.
Fuck, I'm losing it. I'm done.
Sir.
On my third anniversary of Lolo's Lounge, I'm going to lose my marbles.
Senator Zaffirini asked you for a recommendation or what might be in mind about appropriate investment.
Those boots look like mucklucks.
I
Maybe
understand
from
you
this
can't give us
option,
an
but no,
exact
or
amount.
from your
Can you
perspective.
give us
But
an
Neil, I'm
exact
telling you, they're
amount
hot.
or an order of magnitude.
White boots
Well, I
after
guess,
white boots seem kind of weird, but that's fine.
I wouldn't think the entire state treasury.
Do they have Jesus on them? Wait a minute.
That's one number.
Is that Jesus?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I
Not
wish I could.
zero,
Let me see
so
if I can make this
we've
bigger.
narrowed that down the extremities.
Yep.
So
Oh,
now
wait.
we can work somewhere in
No,
between.
it's not
Senator.
gonna let me make it bigger.
Honestly, I
I think
haven't
that's
put
Jesus.
thought to a number. I just haven't.
I gotta take a picture of this. I'm sorry.
To work on that, it's
Okay.
just not something.
I've got a picture of
that
the
I
boot.
can't prepare
And
to
I
give
can
an answer.
appreciate
Hold
that.
on.
I mean, that's just the blindness.
I think I have to show you this because I think that's Jesus in the boot, or else
This
I'm experiencing a
bill, the
miracle
Strategic
right now.
Crypto Reserve, in order for you to run a diversified portfolio that includes cryptocurrency.
I can do that already. However, with that being said, having some parameters and expectations by you as the policymakers is always good. One of the things as you're moving through on various issues, we like goalpost in the executive branch.
Do
we
you?
like
Do you
some
like a
parameters
goalpost?
upon which your expectations
Do
as the
you?
policymakers. And so therefore,
I'm sorry.
having
Okay, see
legislation
these
to give us
boots?
some
I
of
think
those
that's
goalposts
Jesus.
and for you to debate that policy.
I think this is, it's going to get real pixelated. I'm sorry. But I
And so
think that
we
is
have looked at,
Jesus.
do we accept
I'm not
cryptocurrency
kidding.
in a different form, but
Oh,
in my
fuck.
agency as collections in revenue?
I think she has
But then the
Jesus
cost
embroidered.
mechanism
That's
standing that
Jesus.
up and
That's like
being
a
able to receive
Jesus,
it
like Jesus,
way
and then
out
Jesus, like a
as
mirror
the
image
cost.
of Jesus.
We haven't, but we have.
What the
entertained
fuck?
that.
Yeah, visitation of the lounge.
We have looked at
that time Jesus visited. That's fucking Jesus. They're doing it. Yeah, it's Kama Sutra Jesus.
Certainty, some of those issues off the plate.
Those
while
are Jesus
we may
scissoring.
not take advantage.
Those Jesuses are
the
scissoring.
rise, but we are a different investor. You know, we're a different investor because it's
what?
taxpayer dollars, and so we may not be looking for the most
What the
maximum
fuck?
gain of alpha that we can get out there.
Nuh-uh,
and the
that's
highest
Jesus
return.
scissoring
That's not our role.
himself.
And so therefore, my point is,
That's
we kind of
Jesus.
typically take one step at a time.
It's like a mirror image, but it's really them.
miss the front end,
Jesus fuck yourself.
Understood. And your role in
With a big heart.
maintaining
I
the
love
respect
those
portfolio is
boots.
different than perhaps this legislature is.
It's
looking
not
for
sweet
in-
baby Jesus. No, they're being they're getting down.
creating strategic reserve. It is a hedge. It could have value.
Let me see if I can make it bigger so you can really see the action. Jesus on Jesus action.
We've seen before that the legislature has appropriated.
I don't know what's
a certain
going
amount
on
of
right
funds for
there.
a particular purpose, and in the interim, the amount of funds dedicated to that purpose go up dramatically. Sometimes in the billions. Recently.
Do Mohammed next. Sure. Bringing them all in.
I think your drafting is pretty careful.
Hey, I didn't
As
put
I
the
read your
boots
bill,
on.
I don't see how
She put the
we could
boots
run
on.
into that problem.
I didn't do it.
But I do think it's important to raise it.
I'm just telling you what the
Somehow,
vision
through
is that
budget
I'm having. That's
execution,
all.
The executive branch increase the multiply.
I don't know what Mohammed looks like. Does anybody have Mohammed on their boots? I don't know.
I'm not prepared to answer that.
I'll tell you right now, if you walk in here with Mohammed on your boots scissoring another Mohammed, I'm probably going to put that on screen too.
Be highly unlikely.
I
Now,
don't
whether
know.
that could
Sorry
in
everybody.
theory occur, I'm not prepared to answer that question.
Kind
I'm
of in a
happy to try to
mood.
find out, but the point is, I would have a hard time.
Would you think that was inappropriate on the executive branch to
I
add
don't-
to an amount that's appropriated
To have
by
an
legislation?
agreement for budgeting execution, which is moving dollars to manage the states as we're continuing to go through with uncertainty.
Yeah, I have no
while
problem.
you're
I mean,
not
I
here.
have a lot of
And that's
friends who are
between
like
the
Catholic
governor,
and
lieutenant
stuff like that.
governor,
My
the
mother was
speaker.
pretty
All
devout
of these
Catholic,
things have
not
to
with
occur. So there's
gay.
several checks
She
in
had
place is the
not
point.
the same
And
views
so
on abortion
therefore,
and
there's
gay,
the LBB members sit
LGBTQ.
on,
She had
and so therefore there's all
the
these
right
steps
the
in
right
place.
position on those issues. But she was very devout, and I was I was
happened
pretty
before, but I
like
agree it would be hard to
Methodist
justify for
Christian,
purposes of this
you know,
bill.
kind of in my older years.
That's why it
I
doesn't
just
happen
don't
very
believe anymore.
Yeah,
So, but I don't believe in any religion.
Concerns you would have with the
I just don't
donation,
believe any
and the
religion.
statute's been carefully drafted
But
to
I don't
give
begrudge
confidence
anybody
owners
their
with
religious
especially
beliefs.
9%.
Absolutely. I have
Gives me
tremendous
some-
respect for that. But I just don't have any respect for the men who created all the
it seems to me
religion
this is
and all the
not really
rules.
very free market
Sorry to talk over him, but you know,
when
that's all.
essentially
I think Jesus is maybe wearing a corset. It's
put
probably the
money
Queen of
into
Hearts,
this
but it doesn't
fund,
matter.
which is more or less purchased
Because to me, it's Jesus.
It's a manipulative move to put money into state
Sorry, that
funds
was totally
to
worth it.
legitimize the whole project, thereby
I know,
drawing more
I know,
investment,
butterflies.
more
You had to
use of
see
the
those
currency.
things.
Is that an appropriate use?
Amen,
of state
Jesus
fisc?
playing
Well, I
cards.
just kind of as I answered earlier. For me
Google the image of the boots if you want to. Uh-oh.
But Glenn on his
Really?
own to go accept a donation,
Really?
whether it's in whatever that may be.
Speaking of which.
I don't want to move markets. That's not my job.
Oh,
Right?
really?
So you reject one because it's too big?
Well, we'll see what the parameters are in the legislation. I haven't actually thought all of these
What?
through. There's a lot of moving pieces, and this one over here has a big piece of legislation.
Yeah,
that
the
has a
government
role
crypto
in us
thing is
playing, and
worse
so
than the
therefore
blind leading the
I'm just
blind.
being honest, we got a lot of moving pieces.
There's
so
too many
I haven't
bros.
thought through all this, but the point being is
Too many bros. Apatheist. I
have a hard
can't
time
be asked to
imagining
care
that
if
it's
God
something
exists or not. That's a good one, Max. I like that.
maybe Senator, but I just
I just don't. Yeah, I kind of don't care now,
Any other
but I don't
questions?
believe.
Senator Nichols.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
But I understand the purpose of faith. Faith is important.
The flexibility to invest in
our current endowments. Yes, sir.
But you chose not to.
We have slowly moved in as whether that is an option in the portfolio, whether that is part of the strategy that we should, but we have not to date, to answer your question. If ETFs, they just became approved, what was that, as of 24, sometime last year, as a tool, and then the SEC just had, that was it October or so of last year? So the point is, some of these options and some
Yes,
of the regulatory
Jesus is May
certainty
West.
just occurred
Oh,
in
yeah.
less than
Bye, Iggy. Have a good day,
I don't
love.
think we would have done that before.
Summer of Soul documentary tonight, documentary Tuesdays.
That is correct. That is correct.
I'll send a note.
Mutual fund.
That is correct.
Yeah. So those, when you are dealing with whether treasury bonds, state bonds, city bonds, school bonds, whatever, those are all guaranteed by good faith credit of those entities, most of which have tax credits.
As long as they have good credit, yes, sir.
Investments like gold have been recognized as a way to maintain value, not just centuries, but thousands of years. Do you buy any gold?
We don't have gold purchased today.
But we do have strategic gold.
I have a yes, and we have stood that up, and it is operating effectively. Yes, sir.
Why did you not decide to buy any gold?
It is just not part of our portfolio, or even to answer. We don't have a big position in, even though Texas is the oil and gas state.
He did make promises. He's going to deregulate the industry, butterflies.
Right now in our portfolio. So there's different reasons that at times for the different portfolios we may increase or decrease part of that strategy. You know, whether it's domestic investments, foreign investments, just all the different mixes.
And so cryptocurrency is backed up with what?
So I think like anything, I mean, the cryptocurrency, much like a lot of different assets that are out there, they're backed up by the people that have faith and believe in them.
Oh, okay.
And it is holding up a value. The same in a company. A company produces something, but people have to believe in that company.
And companies produce things. Sometimes they make money, sometimes they lose money.
But my point being is they produce things, but people have faith in that brand, and it either goes up or goes down.
Really?
In that value.
Boot barn.
Making cryptocurrency constantly
Up to a certain amount. In Bitcoin, that is, I should say. Bitcoin has a limit upon which.
Yeah, you hit the ultimate end of it.
That one does.
That particular one, as I understand it, and maybe it's one of the late night things I watched, but there's about 1 million of them missing. The guy that was the originator of the whole thing, either he's lost his key or he passed away or whatever. Supposedly 1 million.
Satoshi?
Nobody knows.
Are they talking about Satoshi? Oh my God. The chants have entered the chat.
All right, thank you.
Yes.
It's an 8chan world in an 8chan government. This guy wants to be a chan too. Whoops. What do you go get your brunch?
This whole discussion in Senator Nichols rightly hits on it is what is value? What is something that's considered a currency? Or what is something that's value? Warren Buffett is famous for saying that gold is just a shiny rock, right? But it has value in the eyes of the vast majority of people across the world.
Shiny rocks.
Cryptocurrencies, historically, 5
Why
years ago, we're seeing differently in the light of federal government and in individuals. I would say cryptocurrencies have become mainstream by individuals and obviously in the financial markets. The SEC regulated ETFs don't invest in the companies that produce Bitcoin. They're not buying miners, they're not buying exchanges. They actually purchase Bitcoin, just like the GLD
to be first.
ETF, for instance. And they're massive ETFs. They're not small market cap ETFs.
No, they're big and burly.
And again, the legitimacy at the presidential level
There's no legitimacy.
Legitimacy. The stated goal of the strategic national digital
There's
asset
no
stockpile.
legitimacy
Treasury
in
classifying Bitcoin or referencing Bitcoin as digital gold in their published.
I don't know. I mean, that's the committee director and the clerk.
There is a shift and a change, and it's brought about
There's
by
change in the wind
and the value
and
of the
what
full faith and credit
we can
of the
make
United States and
for
other
me.
countries, which is something
And
that
if
is
we're
called into question.
crypto
We always believe in the
bros,
dollar, the green dollar, looking at a dollar.
Orange
You look at
guy
every
and
country
Elon will
in the history of the
love
world,
us.
their currency
Oh my
eventually
God,
goes to
Elon. I'm terrible.
Senator Menendez.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Comptroller,
Come on,
thank you for
Menendez,
being here, what
please.
you do for us.
Bring sanity.
On the advisory committee, have you reviewed the makeup of the committee? Have you gone over it? Have you had a chance to look at it?
I have not. Our team, my team, and the senator's team have worked on this language together.
So currently, it says you, a member of your
Black ones, too.
investment advisory board, and 3
If it's
people
obvious
who
to
are
everyone they're
experts in
Jesus on Jesus, then maybe I'd wear them.
I was wondering, since one of these members is already a member
I don't
of
want
the
to pick on
investment
Jesus
advisory,
either. He was probably all right.
There's a part of me that would feel more comfortable, and I wanted to get your impression how you
I mean,
feel.
not
If
that
you had
that's
two
picking on
members
him,
of your
because
investment
frankly,
advisory board
who doesn't?
and 2 crypto experts, and you would be like the tie breaking on some sort of advice to move forward.
Could be anybody.
The way I see this is obviously it's an
Elon
advisory
is such a pawn.
we look for people who have expertise, who bring us
Elon
information.
is a pawn. I know, Carla. It's the Queen of Hearts. I get it.
Those prudent decisions off of.
I get it. It's not
regardless of
Jesus.
how the size is and the number of people or where they come from.
That's all.
We are going to go out and seek input.
Thank God it's not
from a
Jesus.
wide range of people beyond that number. And that is what we do on everything.
I will not stop watering.
Any investment that we make on behalf
Does it bring your
of the
child
state.
support?
We go
Those are like fully grown people.
It's not just
Those are real people
So I appreciate that.
doing
are
real
you concerned
jobs.
at all with
More important than
the
me.
impression, and I'm agnostic at this point. in
Easy
terms
mistake
of
to make.
how y'all move forward, but I am concerned about the impression that we give the 31 million Texans that now the state of Texas is an investor in Bitcoin and must be safe. I should go buy some.
Yes.
Are you
Hello.
concerned at all about that?
Well, I think that's
I don't
part
know.
of maybe
This team
the
was-
questions.
I don't know.
Part, not
We'll have to
speak
see.
for
I doubt it.
The senators, Dean, is what is that appropriate level, the signal that you're sending. I think that we as the state, we already invest in a large number of things.
Really?
So
Like what?
is that determined as, this one investment or that
What? If
investment
truckers would just use Jesus on their mud flaps, we could have nice things. There you go, Oren. What a great idea that is. Let's thinking outside the box.
believe in the
You could
oil
have
and gas
Jesus
sector in
like
Texas, right?
with his
we're
boobs
not trying to
sticking
send a
up.
signal. It's just not what we have
Queen of
our
Hearts flip flops are funny.
So I'm not sure, Senator.
I'm not
let me say
sure.
it this
I don't know the answer.
People utilize things in any way that they want to.
Yeah,
and we can't
exactly.
control that
We can't control that.
But I'm not sure that it'll be.
I don't know. You think the actual state that they live in investing in Bitcoin will send the message that you should invest in Bitcoin too? No. Well, maybe. I don't know.
And he's not the only person that this has happened to. And so
Yikes.
I am concerned.
I want to talk about Argentina after this, okay?
The app was hacked. And
We've
and
got
Bitcoin's
stuff.
gone. And so my concern is that people see the state doing this, and as opposed to if you have gold bars or coins or stocks that your stockholders
I do
own,
feel bad for
that
Texans.
this would be easy for them to lose, and that's a concern.
And we've talked internally what would be the best way. Whether do we hold those keys? Do other parties? There's all these security issues, and whatever that we're going to work through to make sure it's as secure as it can be.
Really?
From what we would have.
From what we're not guaranteeing it.
want to add that issue.
We're investing in an
Security
unregulated industry
is paramount
based on air.
on everything, right? And gold bars.
Menendez is killing it, man. These guys,
where you
the
start,
Democrats in the Senate in
financial
Texas are
assets,
killing it. They're doing a good job.
dollars, actual hard currency.
I think they're
How you-
Democrats.
Where you
I don't
carry
know.
it, where you
May
put
not
it
be.
on a mattress. And then financial assets in
That's
general.
not how we manage
Yes.
assets, just for the
But
record.
financial assets in general, two-factor authentication and how
Yeah, do you have
standard
2FA?
financial assets,
2FA?
stocks and actual dollar
How do we fuck you? Let me count the ways. I got another one. I'm gonna fuck you on the blockchain.
and for lack of proper custodial
Wait, that's a
protocols.
song.
I believe
I'm gonna
in Texas, the
fuck
comptroller's
you.
office is the most appropriate office to put in place the parameters for which a
I'm gonna fuck you on the blockchain.
safety and appropriateness regarding the safeguards.
Well, I'm going to break us there. This is a really interesting topic.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
We will.
We'll be back.
Stand, I guess, in recess.
Okay, great. Yeah, Stan. Oops, wait. Are you gonna say when
Is
you're?
it okay if the comptroller not come back? He has a lot of work to do.
Oh, does he? Does he have a lot of work to do?
I just wanted clarification.
Yes.
Trust me.
Thank you. Hey,
this is the process. You're
Wait, when are you
excused
coming
whenever you
back?
want to be.
I didn't. I paid not
Lee,
attention.
If you don't mind, we're going to ask you to stick around. Come back. We'll stand at ease until or in recess until 1:30 or upon adjournment.
What's that mean? Is that 2 hours from now? Is that literally 2 hours from now? No, 3 hours from now? What the fuck? All right, we're going to turn you off, and then we're going to go. I'm going to actually. I can get rid of that. Okay, hold on. I got this little 7-minute thing to play that I noticed last night because I was looking at Milei. I was looking at Milei because I've been looking at sovereign wealth funds too. And then I heard this one. Senator Liza Minnelli is a Republican. Okay, Menendez is a Democrat. Thank you so much, Neil. Everything's bigger in Texas. 1:30. What does that mean, though? That's 2 hours from now? Okay, or 3 hours from now? I don't even know. I got some nice merino wool socks for cheap from Temu. Soft and warm. 6 pairs for like $8. That's nice, Karen. I don't tend to order stuff off of there. We shall fuck you on the beaches. We shall fuck you on the landing grounds. We shall fuck you in the fields and in the streets. We shall fuck you in the hills. We shall never surrender. Is it 420? Is it 420 already? Okay, anyway. So I've been obsessed with this, like, what's happening in Argentina in the last week. And it has to do with a state sovereign wealth fund. Oh, and Bitcoin. Oh, and a coin. Oh, well, kind of. Not really the state sovereign wealth fund. But anyway. Milei backed this coin. This guy explains it. I am not endorsing coinage as a channel. Okay. I'm not endorsing coinage as a channel. But this one captured some of the parts that I wanted to learn about this situation in a fast way. So that's why I'm showing this. So don't take it as some kind of endorsement of anything because it's not. Anyway, here we go. This is what's happening in Argentina when it comes to a Libra meme coin, I don't know if it's a meme coin or a coin. I don't know if that's a difference without a distinction. But anyway, there's a scandal brewing, and Milei's in trouble. The darling with the chainsaw might have just run into his own chainsaw.
Milei just shot himself in the foot with one of the wildest, most self-inflicted disasters in crypto history. Here's the crazy story into why Milei is now facing fraud charges and a potential impeachment, all because he endorsed a crypto token from this 28-year-old.
Maybe I shouldn't have done that in hindsight, whatever. But I'm trying to admit, like, I'm not a piece of shit.
Whoops, that's Hayden James. That's the guy who sponsored
First
the coin.
off, I was down in Buenos Aires when all of this began. It was October of last year when the crypto world descended on Buenos Aires with a few crypto conferences. One of those conferences, the Tech Forum, was put on by 2 Argentine crypto promoters and went around trying to charge for meet and greets with President Milei. As Cardano founder Charles Hoskinson confirmed, that was probably red flag number 1 that Milei was being taken advantage of.
So we had all these people that we'd encounter along the way, and they say,
Taken
hey,
advantage of? I
you know,
don't think so.
You give us a little something, we can get you a meeting, and oh yeah, magical things can happen. I said, well, that would be a violation of the FCPA. We can't do that. And then suddenly they stopped talking to us. So we were always curious, what was going on there.
In that setting, enter Hayden Davis, a 28-year-old Liberty University grad who worked his way into Milei's inner circle, convincing him to endorse the Viva la Libertad project, a crypto token that purported to raise money to boost the Argentine economy. Milei tweeted out that endorsement, linking to the crypto token on Friday. despite the site not listing any detailed tokenomics and the fact that the site's contact page was just a janky Google form in English for Argentine businesses to apply for funding. People plowed their money into the token anyway. But within hours, the token's price began to plummet. People got nervous over about 80% of the token supply.
Oh, Lee, I'm so sorry. Oh, my goodness. You saw them while you were in England for the holidays. A friend passed away last night. Reach out to friends and family to let them know you care. Oh, Lee, I'm so very sorry. I know you absolutely loved your time over there, and that was a common, trip for you to make. I am so sorry. Oh, love. I'll text you later and check in with you, but I'm so sorry for your loss. I know that must be so painful. Oh, all right. Take care of yourself.
Supply being controlled by a few wallets. And soon after, Milei deleted his tweet and said he wasn't sure of all the details around the project. The Libra token continued to fall over 90% as people panicked. In the aftermath, the man behind the project, Hayden Davis, the brainchild of a crypto venture firm, surfaced on X to share an emergency update, saying he wanted to be more transparent and accountable for what happened.
A lot of people that have been involved with this launch have gone either silent or are nowhere to be found. And I want to make sure there's A, accountability, and B, a structure going forward so that people don't feel screwed over.
In an interview with CoffeeZilla, Hayden revealed that the reason the token plummeted was because other people front-ran the token launch and sniped or bought up massive amounts of the token and eventually dumped after the project's fully diluted market cap peaked at over $4 billion. And just to be clear here, these projects are never really worth that much. It's just that the marginal price the last person has paid per token multiplied by all the tokens outstanding gives you that larger number. The minute anyone who's sniped this project dumps, the market gets flooded with Libra tokens and the price nukes. So technically, Hayden can be telling the truth that neither he nor Milei intentionally rugged anyone who bought the token, but it became astoundingly clear in the rest of the interview that he knew exactly the risks of this happening, because he admitted to being on the team that helped launch Melania Trump's Melania meme coin.
A lot of people have linked you to the Melania launch, and that is a big question on everyone's mind, mine especially, which is, were you part of the Melania launch, and was that sniped as well?
I was part of it. I think the team did want to snipe it because of how big the snipe was on Trump's.
And this might be the most important part in telling this story of what happened here. Because what you have is a guy who was fully aware
They drink their
of how
own
bad this could
Kool-Aid.
go,
They
because
drink
he
their
saw
own
that with the
Kool-Aid.
Melania
Come
token
on
launch.
now.
And despite that, used the president of Argentina
I watched
to
this
promote a
last night.
project
I
on
was
the
like,
promise of
oh
helping
my fucking
Argentine
God.
businesses, when they're probably going to be
It's
the
all the
ones who
same
are hurt
people.
the most
Liberty
in all
University,
this.
wonder who he's friends with.
You.
Jesus Christ. Now, I would say that that is a very bad thing. But it's even more damning to hear the guy who literally launched this token admit the same, despite the fact that he launched not just one, but two of these things.
It is an insider's game. This is an unregulated casino. Like, if you're a retail trader thinking you're going to go make millions off
Lolo
of
is
meme
so
coins,
smart.
you better study
Lolo
your
is
fucking ass
smart.
off. All of these are a game. And so from a retail perspective,
That's what
I
they say
highly
all the time.
encourage
These are
people,
games.
unless
These
they
meme
have,
tokens
if
are
you have
fucking
100
games to these
grand,
guys.
go
They want to
spend
see how
10
fast
and
they can
play the
get in and
game
get out.
if you want to do that. But it's not a good idea.
In the aftermath, as Milei and the people on the team try to figure out how to make this right, people are calling on Hayden to refund the people who bought this token. In fact, Hayden already refunded losses for some people, like Barstool's Dave Portnoy, who also asked Hayden what he plans to do with the rest of it.
Whose money is it? That's what I don't. I think that's the question.
I don't know. I mean, it's definitely not mine. It's Argentina's.
But let's be honest, if you threw your money into this, were you really doing it because you wanted to help Argentine businesses or because you wanted to buy low and sell high? Using $100 million or so to prop up a token that's already cooked might not be as helpful to the real victims when that money could still serve the purpose that was peddled to the world. So where do we go from here? And that's where it gets incredibly messy. And no, not like the
No,
good
I
kind of
haven't
messy
posted
for
this.
Argentina.
I watched
The
it
very
late last
bad
night.
kind. The bad kind of a president who is actually turning the country around, now embroiling himself in a scandal of his own making, and having to address the country as the Argentine stock market tanks 5% kind of messy. As we've covered before, Milei has manufactured an incredible turnaround in Argentina. Inflation was coming down and economic restrictions were being lifted with the help of crypto. And that's what's frustrating. There are so many better ways to launch the ability to fund things together than meme coins. And I say that as a founder who has launched this show as a community-owned DAO that anyone can join by minting.
Blah, blah, blah.
Sure, we might...
If that's your, well, Hayden...
I don't want to hear about your own coin, okay? Fuck wad. Not doing it.
And everyone gets treated the same instead of people like Dave Portnoy getting
buy my
special
coin.
treatment.
Don't buy anybody's coin.
The only thing I haven't said, and wasn't intentional,
unless they're your like
refunded
child.
me. And again, if that's your, well, Dave accepted a refund for the fucking money he lost in 10 minutes. Yeah, that's an advantage of being me.
The fact is, Hayden Davis knew exactly what he was doing and the risks of what he was doing, even if Javier Milei didn't.
Dave Portnoy is a trash human.
And shame on anyone who keeps doing this shit in crypto. We as a space need to hold these people accountable. And if you...
Okay, that was a good thing to say. You're all right. Okay, I'm going to link this in there. Hold on. And then I have a couple stories to read to you. Milei is now under official investigation for this crypto scam. So it's getting hot and heavy. And this actually, to me, I don't think, I think El Salvador is the country that went to, or that was testing Bitcoin as a national currency or something. I can't recall. And I felt that this was a similar boondoggle, right? Using crypto to just cash out on people. It's a Ponzi scheme. Okay. These are Ponzi schemes where the insiders are the ones who wait for it to go really high and then they dump their tokens and they drive the market down. This is all it is. And so here's the nuance for whoever, if you care. The nuance for me is that you have a Nayib Bukele's phone. Thank you, Paulina. Thank you, Nayib Bukele. And the thing about it is, let me link this. Sorry, I got confused. Where'd you go? Where'd you go? Where'd you go? Oh my God. Where is everybody? What was I just playing? God dang it. Oh, I know. It's back here. Oh, no, it's not. Okay. I fucked up. Hey, lady. All right, hold on. I'm so sorry. I kind of fucked it all up here. I might actually I might actually subscribe to that coinage channel. I can kind of appreciate what he was trying to say. He might explain things at least somewhat interestingly. Okay, that should be the link to the thing we just watched. So sorry that this is not a clean screen. And then what I wanted to okay, Argentina. Here we go. Sorry. Here we go. I've got a few stories, and some of them are quick, so it won't be like totally annoying. Let me do this and that. Okay. So this is from the Daily Hodl. I don't know. HODL. Can some child tell me what that means? Because I don't know what that means. I don't know what HODL is. What's HODL? I'll look it up. I can look it up. Coinage of, oh yeah, okay. Pours nicotine lozenges. What's the deal with El Salvador? I've had 2 people this week tell me they're going there on holiday. Not much experience with Central and South America tourism. I actually don't know. Did Ursula von der Leyen beat Keith Kellogg's ass? I wish she would. Ursula von der Leyen, I have such a crush on her. She's fucking amazing. Hot as fuck. I would love to meet her. That's a person I would love to have lunch with. I think she smokes weed. I don't know. I feel it. This will make Bernie Madoff look like a pickpocket. That is it. Thank you, Carla. Here's my personal position on crypto. I totally believe in the future and different currencies and things like that. I do defer to experts. Okay. I defer to experts when it comes to some of these things around the economics of it. Right. And I truly believe, having been a stockbroker, that it is good to have regulatory oversight because there is just too much greed. There's too much. And in fact, there's probably not enough government oversight when it comes to institutional trading. So there. My problem right now is that this is a nascent technology, and it is fraught with opportunities like this where people are, taking advantage of other people. And there's no accountability except for legal, but that takes time. And there's no regulatory oversight that actually is a help here. So that's my feeling. I'm not anti-crypto at all. I am anti-impact to the environment. I think we've got a lot of things to think through when it comes to how crypto is mined and all these things, because that is not acceptable. That's not going forward. That's not innovation. That is making a situation worse. Right. Yeah. Stocks are backed by actual assets. Crypto is vapor. So I think, of course, crypto can be part of the future of an economic blah, blah, blah. But it has to be done thoughtfully and not by people like Hayden Davis. And unfortunately, there's more Hayden Davises within crypto than there are, not Hayden Davises. I talked to a crypto bro at one of those MAGA things I went to. I went to this MAGA thing, and he had a booth for his crypto trading thing. And I said, I can't remember exactly how I put it, but I'm like, what happens? How do you keep the bad guys out of your business? How do you do that and not have the regulatory burden that you guys think is so heavy? And he just didn't even know how to answer it. And I asked him, I said, so what's your qualification to be talking to me about the wisdom of investing in crypto? Tell me your qualifications. I mean, I have a series 7, a series 8, which means I can manage a group of brokers. And I have a series 63, which means I can trade in multiple states. I had them. I don't have them anymore. But at a point in time, for many years, I had those licenses. And I had to learn things in order to keep those licenses. So what have you done? And he's like, oh, well, I don't... So no, there's no... I don't trust brokers, okay, to give me advice. There are plenty of brokers out there that are stupid as F. I'm sure as shit not going to trust a Liberty University bitch to sell me shit. So anyway, I'm not anti-innovation at all. I think it's fucking awesome. But man, this is the point in the process where you're supposed to really fucking dig in and figure out how to keep it relatively safe while still giving you as much latitude as possible to make as much money as possible. But you don't make that money off the backs of regular folks that are trying to participate in something that's exciting or whatever, or potentially, a gamble. HODL is a term used in cryptocurrency trading that means to hold on to assets instead of selling them. It's a long-term investment strategy that involves avoiding short-term price. Well, okay. Okay. And these guys could hold on to Bitcoin, but I don't know. I worry too about the money laundering and, there's just a lot of shit. And that's, this is part of the process. This is what you go through when you're innovating. You go through a messy, messy part where there's a Wild West. It's kind of like Barbary Coast right now, right? And then there'll be order, and then there'll be too much order, and then they'll have to, you know what I mean? Like it's an ebb and like it feels like this is part of the natural course of things. I don't know why, but that's kind of what it just feels like. I want to learn more about it, though, because it's not going away. So I'm not going to, like, be weird about it. I'll link this to, I was just talking to my wife about El Salvador. She needs to get to a beach somewhere. My go-to spot when I needed to take time off was always Ambergris Cay in Belize. Well, that sounds great, Jim. I haven't been to the beach in years, and I live near one, so I'm glad somebody's taking a vacation. That's fantastic. I think that's great. You're a great husband. All right. Libra co-creator Hayden Davis doesn't deny wallets linked to the Project Sniped, the meme coin launch. This is from February 18th. It's from the Daily Hodl, which is an interesting publication too. I might look at this a little more frequently. One of the co-founders of the controversial meme coin Libra says the project itself sniped the token right after it rolled out. In crypto trading, sniping refers to the practice of using trading bots or scripts to buy a newly launched coin ahead of big transactions or the entry of retail traders. Snipers got their edge by buying early in anticipation of a massive spike in trading volume with the arrival of other investors. In a new interview on the Voidzilla YouTube channel, Libra co-creator Hayden Davis says he does not deny that wallets linked to the project sniped the meme coin on launch day. According to Davis, Libra had a separate treasury dedicated to gobbling up the token and front-running other investors. Quote, that money we consider sniping is the project's money. That means his money. Davis says the teams behind meme coin launches often practice sniping to deter others from getting in early. This is like completely wrong, okay? This is what they mean by insider trading, okay? We don't allow this with IPOs, with initial public offerings of stock in companies. We don't allow this. People can get shares ahead of time, but they are subject to restrictions and holds on what you can sell and when you can sell it. The SEC is very specific about that. For good reason, because of this kind of shit. Do you not think this would happen with every goddamn IPO coming out on the stock exchange? Jesus Christ on a cracker. How dumb are we? Davis says teams behind meme... Okay, blah, blah, blah. From the standpoint of sniping, most of the time when we're sniping, we're attempting to avoid other snipers getting in. Why wouldn't you... Okay. He explains that meme coin projects need to snipe their own coins to increase the odds of survival by inflating the market cap to a level, the market capitalization, which means the amount of tokens that are out there, to a level high enough that the market can absorb large sell orders from deep-pocketed investors. Libra, a crypto project initially backed by Argentinian President Javier Milei, surged to a market cap of over $4 billion on launch day before losing more than 95% of its value on the same day. Milei has backtracked his support for the crypto asset. The people behind the team, including Davis, are in hot water amid the rug pull and insider trading accusations. But Davis denies any wrongdoing and says Libra is a plan gone miserably wrong. He also says the team is sitting on $100 million worth of the project's money. I'm going to watch that later because that's the full interview, and I want to read you another thing about the fact that Javier Milei is now in trouble. Turkey is backing Ukraine. Oh my gosh, Badger, that's good news. That's good news. It's a tough situation over there, too. We talked about that this morning. We watched a little bit of those morons over in Riyadh. $100 bazillion worth of nothing. All right, let's read this. Javier Milei faces impeachment calls after Argentina cryptocurrency collapse. Oopsie poopsie. The president endorsed the Libra crypto token on Friday before it collapsed, leading some to call it a financial rug pull. Oh, what's the matter? You got a little coke eye going on there. All right, here we go. This was yesterday. Holy shit. Opposition politicians in Argentina have called for the impeachment of President Javier Milei after he touted a cryptocurrency which quickly collapsed and reportedly led to millions of dollars in losses this weekend. Milei endorsed the little-known cryptocurrency token Libra on Friday evening, announcing on X that the project was dedicated to boosting the growth of the Argentinian economy by funding small businesses and entrepreneurs. His post linked to a website where the digital coin could be bought, the domain name of which included Milei's popular catchphrase, "Long live freedom." The world wants to invest in Argentina, Milei added in the post to his more than 3.8 million followers. The token immediately soared in value from almost zero at the time of its launch to nearly $5 before plummeting to under $1, according to trading sites. Argentina's fintech chamber said that the case could amount to a rug pull, a scam which sees cryptocurrency rapidly inflated or pumped before crashing while insiders dump their stake, making the tokens worthless. Other economists and crypto specialists said the digital asset could be a fraud or Ponzi scheme. And later said water is wet. Milei deleted his post hours later, saying he was not aware of the details of the project, but the scandal has nonetheless sparked a political firestorm, and the federal prosecutor's office will reportedly now examine whether the president engaged in fraud or criminal association or was in breach of his duties. I need to know who Hayden Davis is connected to, because Hayden Davis is identified as a Liberty University graduate. He's about 28 years old, as I understand it. And I need to know who he's connected to. I can only imagine. Let's see. Oh, yeah. A group of lawyers filed fraud complaints in the criminal court on Sunday, saying they criminally denounced the president of Argentinian nation, Javier Milei, because we believe that he is a fundamental participant in the development, execution, and planning of the mega scam related to the launch of the Libra token. Jonathan, I'm not going to say this right. I apologize in advance. Jonathan Valdivieso, a lawyer and one of the plaintiffs, told the Associated Press that he saw an illicit association to commit an indeterminate number of frauds in the episode. Within this illicit association, the crime of fraud was committed, in which the president's actions were essential, he said. Opposition lawmakers, meanwhile, are calling for Milei's impeachment. This scandal, which embarrasses us on an international scale, requires us to launch an impeachment request against the president, said lawmaker Leandro Santoro, a member of the opposition coalition. Miriam Bregman, a prominent socialist leader and former presidential candidate, said Milei is the one who must answer to Congress. We want to know step by step who has benefited from it and how. This is not the first time he has been involved in something like that, but it is aggravated by his current role as president. Former President Cristina Fernandez de Kirchner wrote on social media, "You promoted a private cryptocurrency from your official X account created by who knows who. You inflated its value, taking advantage of your presidential investiture. And to top it all off, you say that you were unfamiliar, from self-proclaimed global leader to crypto scammer." Latin America leaders also weighed in, with Mexico's President Claudia Sheinbaum saying that it is extremely serious if confirmed, especially in terms of a president's powers to promote something private. The incident has promoted comparisons with the U.S. President Dump, who last month launched the Trump meme coin, which also surged before crashing. Milei retaliated to the criticism by blaming his opponents, whom he called filthy rats of the political caste, and saying that they wanted to take advantage of this situation to do harm. The presidential office said that Milei was not involved in any stage of the cryptocurrency's development and decided to remove the social media post to limit further exposure. It added that the anti-corruption office had been instructed to start an investigation. Political analyst Marcelo Garcia of the Horizon Engage political risk consultancy firm said Milei and his government needed to contain the crisis by giving a clear explanation of what happened in order to prevent the incident from escalating to a credibility crisis that could discourage the largest investment community. Cryptocurrency has exploded in Argentina in recent years as disillusioned savers sought to keep their money outside traditional banks amid a decades-long economic crisis and soaring inflation rates. Analysts have warned that the crisis could damage Milei's reputation as a custodian of economic recovery and an anti-corruption president ahead of midterm elections later this year. They are having their midterms. That's interesting. Did I read this Barron's article? I can't remember. Hold on. I read that. That's that. Not really related. Let me read this Barron's article that I archived. Let me check in with my chat. But this one goes to 11. What's that mean? Oh, this one goes to 11. What does that mean? 8, 9. That's 9. Okay. Every MLM my in-laws were in, oh my God, it's a scam. I know, Oren. These are just scams. Now Turkey's backing Ukraine. That's good. $100 bazillion worth of nothing. We own a bunch of title insurance company, First American Financial. Oh. I don't know how that works. Oh no, doesn't Milei have enough to corrupt co-conspirators? Boo-boo. I know. Where's all his friends? Where's Matt Gaetz? Matt Gaetz, why aren't you speaking up for him? Every light bulb and water faucet and outlet in my building is a power saving. Let's crypto and AI our way through climate disasters while causing another climate disaster. Cryptocurrency is a pyramid scheme. Somehow or other, this is going to be related to Elon Musk breaking into Fort Knox to see how much gold is in there. This one goes to 11. It's a Spinal Tap quote. Oh, okay. All right, great. Yeah, this one's going to 11. That's true. This is the man who has the chainsaw, he's like an austerity guy or something. I don't know. I actually am curious about what's really going on with the Argentinian economy. Well, now it's kind of like whatever, but I am kind of interested to see what is this just disinformation, or did he actually do something that helped? I can't imagine, because I think he's a big fucking scam. He's a big fucking scam artist, all on his own. But kind of in line with kind of kings doing shit with money that belongs to the people. If you keep that as a theme for today, I don't know, there's probably a really great word for that. I don't know, robbery. I'm not really sure. This is a Barron piece from earlier this month that came from, I think, Gal, you shared this. If you're still here, you shared this with me a while back. The hidden dangers of Trump's sovereign wealth fund proposal. And I think it's again, this is in the, usurpation. There you go. They're usurping kind of all of the, oh, good. This is so hard to read. All right, here we go. This is an archived article from Barron's. David listed hustling expert and business networking as skills on his LinkedIn profile. I'm telling you, that Hayden Davis, he's a piece of shit. I've been trying to find more video clips of him because I don't even know. He looks like Johnny Bravo. He looks like Johnny Bravo. That's what it was. It was driving me insane. I'm like, he has the biggest barrel chest. And then he's got this teeny tiny little head with a big thing of blonde hair on top of it. I bet he was an ugly kid. I bet he's an ugly kid. But I'm sorry. There are some ugly kids. Not many, but there are some kids that are just not that great looking. And I imagine he might have been one of those kids. But did you see Trump appointed the guy as his previous assistant manager at a wine liquor store? No, but he seems more qualified than some. Okay, I'm going to read this article. Here we go. President Donald Trump's executive order to establish a U.S. sovereign wealth fund represents a concerning departure from sound economic policy. While the administration frames this as an innovative tool for economic development and strategic investment, my experience in both global finance markets and government service suggests it risks creating a massive, opaque investment vehicle that could distort markets and invite political manipulation and money laundering. Yeah, finally someone with business experience. I love you, Lauren. The fundamental premise is flawed. Having worked closely with sovereign wealth funds in both the private and public sectors, I know these vehicles traditionally emerge from nations with significant fiscal surpluses, Saudi Arabia, or vast natural resource revenue. Think Norway's oil wealth or Singapore's persistent trade surpluses. The U.S., running a substantial budget deficits, would essentially be borrowing money to create an investment fund. This is akin to taking out a home equity loan to play the stock market. That's exactly what this is. I'm not really laughing because it's not funny, but I don't have any other reactions left. This is going to be the reaction, probably. It's either this or like abject crying. No, I'm just kidding. I'm fine. But I am getting more stoic, actually. The proposed structure raises serious governance concerns. Although yesterday I was kind of screamy, but it felt really good to scream yesterday. I'm going to be real honest with you. That felt so good. I don't care. I don't care. It felt really good. I highly recommend it. Just go protest just so that you can scream. It'll be fine. Just stand on the right side of the pylons. Or whatever they are. Well, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent speaks of monetizing assets for the American people. Oh my God. The fund's broad mandate and political oversight create fertile ground for misuse. Infrastructure investment decisions could be driven by political calculations rather than economic merit, you think? The notion that the fund could be used to acquire stakes in companies like TikTok particularly exemplifies how it might become a tool for politically motivated interventions in private markets, ones that implicate free speech and other liberties. What if he buys X? What if the fund buys X from Elon? And notice that TikTok is not an issue anymore. Where'd that go? Where'd that go? I don't know. Oh, Tom. Hi, Tom. How are you? Pump and dump. Wait, I need some lip gloss. My lips are dry. I kind of lost my voice yesterday. That's kind of crazy. I really felt like screaming, though. I only swore like 2 times. I really am trying not to swear. I definitely don't want to swear. But I got real mad yesterday because someone yelled at me, and so I told him to go fuck himself. And I'm sorry about that, but I couldn't help it. It's hard to kind of protest like being the only person that's protesting because you look crazy, which is fine. I don't mind looking crazy. That's fine. But you look crazy. It's a little lonely. It would be nice to have other people, but that's just, I got to go to where the people are. I have to be where the people are, holding their signs and marching proudly. No, just kidding. Sorry. I'm all over the place today. All right, here we go. Let's read. Read, focus. Blah, 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 blah. The notion that the fund could be used to acquire stakes in companies. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. The administration suggests tariffs could help fund the initiative, effectively proposing to tax American consumers and businesses to create a government investment vehicle. Huh. Yeah, Muskie, thank you so much. I probably I just need to go downtown. That's where all this stuff is happening. So it's not really happening on the west side, which is fine. We'll see. I keep trying to keep my ears open. If you do have peeps, Muskie, please give me their, I would be delighted to join in and support whatever's happening to create more mass. So I would be happy to add my mass to anybody else's thing. In 2016, she was a badass. I know. I still think it's worthwhile to be like, well, I think I actually am already an Antifer. So, I just don't live in the past. I don't waste my time living in the past. But okay, the administration suggests tariffs could help fund the initiative, effectively proposing to tax American consumers and businesses to create a government investment vehicle. In the TikTok context, this would be crony capitalism for allies of the administration, financed on the backs of American households. Proponents argue that such a fund would help America compete with similar vehicles operated by China and the Gulf states. But if the goal is to strengthen American competitiveness and fund critical infrastructure, we already have proven tools: infrastructure spending, research and development funding, and targeted incentives to mobilize private capital. The Biden-Harris administration demonstrated how focused legislation like the CHIPS Act can address strategic priorities without creating new, expansive government investment authorities. Any new proposal should likewise be well targeted, such as in Employ America's proposed Strategic Resilience Reserve. The 90-day implementation timeline laid out in the executive order is particularly concerning. Having overseen major financial initiatives, I can attest that creating a sound governance framework for managing hundreds of billions in public money requires careful consideration and robust debate, not a rushed rollout driven by political timelines. Oh my God, 90 days. Americans should be skeptical of any proposal that suggests the solution to our economic challenges lies in giving the federal government vast new powers to play investor with taxpayer dollars. The path to continued American prosperity and competitiveness lies in strengthening our existing advantages, not in creating a sovereign wealth fund that we neither need nor can properly sustain. Yeah. So that whether or not Trump actually, or the administration, I should say, continues with their bullshit, kind of plans. It's worth understanding what that part of the conversation is about, because what I'm really trying to synthesize for myself in my brain is what is the end goal, and it does seem like the end goal is a lot of privatization and carving out, and ultimately infringing on states' rights as they carve out amongst donors. Really, when you think of Peter Thiel and the other donors that will benefit from this. I mean, Palmer Luckey was just on TV the other day. I should talk about the Palmer Luckey stuff, because he has a huge drone contract. His drones have been part of the military, I think, for quite a few years now. But he just got a huge contract yesterday, or a couple days ago. Oh no, on Valentine's Day. That's right. It was Valentine's Day. Let me just pull that up because I thought that was pretty, not amusing, because amusing is really a strong word. I don't think anything about this is amusing. But at the same time, let's see. I think we all need to get off Twitter too. I hate to say that. I don't want to like bail on shit. But I really think it's just such a toxic, and it's really become like Telegram to me, like it really has become like Telegram. And every post that I see makes me angry. And I just say something like, you're a cunt, something like that. And that's not positive. I actually think, Max, I'm almost trying to get suspended. Because I just don't see, I understand that there needs to be kind of voices. Actually, no, I don't, because those voices don't exist on Gab or Getter or Telegram. And frankly, we should treat and exile X as the Telegram that it is. Let them just talk to themselves. Because guess what? It actually does make them a little vulnerable, because they really drink their own Kool-Aid. And one of these times they're going to say something or do something that actually gets people out of their seats and says, wait a minute. Yeah, Telegram, the app my cousin. Oh yeah, turn off that contacts. I just think it's time. I can't, I understand. I understand if people don't. Exactly. The journalists need to leave. I know. And I don't know. It just doesn't, I'm not seeing any benefit to us all being there. You know what I mean? I'm just not seeing any benefit. I do go there to make sure I see the journalists and what they're posting, but I'm hoping they're going to, I don't know. It feels like Telegram. It feels like it's really more Telegram every day. And that just is such bullshit. I wanted to show you Tina, the amazing Tina, Gal Squad Tina, who's the most amazing person. I think we're a target on this. So let's see. What did we start with? Oh, wait, where is it? Okay, this is the post. So anybody, Tina started yesterday with this, okay? Anybody know if Argentina has one of those sovereign wealth funds? Because we were talking about, I know, the thing, at some point it becomes Telegram. At some point it becomes a Chan. And then you're just adding attention to the Chan, I feel like. And I don't want to do that. I also am not interested in telling anybody what to do, but it feels bad. It feels real bad to be on there. It feels like it just makes me angrier. And then it's not productive. You know what I mean? I do find Blue Sky a little more productive for me. Gal Squataguay. I was there since 2009 and left a year and a half ago. That's true, Tom. You left a long time ago. You really drew a line in the sand. All right, so this is where it started, because then it's like the first criminal complaint is filed in Argentina against Milei for promoting the fraudulent cryptocurrency, which we just read about, and they are investigating him. And then I think this is what we just read, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, it is. Okay, fantastic. And then she posted, kind of sounds, and I said, I've been thinking like Salvador. Argentina adopts new promotional regime for large investments. In brief, what happened? Oh, shit. Tiny. Oh, okay. Get out of here. The Argentine Congress passed a comprehensive reform effective July 8th that introduces, among several legislative amendments, a promotional regime for large investment for its Spanish acronym, RIGI for its Spanish acronym. RIGI aims to provide certainty and legal stability to specific long-term investments in Argentina by offering tax, customs, and currency exchange incentives. The executive branch will designate the administrative authority that will administer. Why is it relevant? The regime applies to several industries, including forestry, tourism, infrastructure, mining, technology, blah, blah, blah. Oops, now it's too big. Now it's too big. Oops. How do you go tinier? Okay, great. Yeah. And then this is Tina. The Solana is a type of meme coin, I guess. I think it's an exchange or something. Libra token started its rally on February 14th, shortly after Milei posted about the project on X, formerly Twitter. His now deleted post includes a website and a contract address for the token, which was a private project dedicated to encouraging the growth of the Argentine economy. I don't exactly know what the token was going to do for the economy, whether or not they were going to distribute money from it. Not entirely sure. I do have this one. Oh, did I read this? No. Oh, I did read this. No, I didn't. I think it's one of the same stories. Anyway, so keep an eye on Argentina, because they're going through some things that I think actually will be relevant to what we're going through. And yeah, the problem is that it's the official government website. I wish the journalists would migrate, but they got paid to be on Twitter. And I know. And can it be that much money? I just don't believe that anyone's making that much money off of Twitter. You can't tell me that. I have y'all here and at Blue Sky, so hope you more organized and leave the former platform. I just think it's really run amok. Hi, Val. Hi, sweetheart. How are you, darling? Good to see you. I'm really glad when you check in. I always think about you. But yeah, I think that it's, this is, the people in the kind of MAGA side, like the Matt Gateses and all those people, they love Milei. They really do. And they're into this kind of pump and dump shit, right? Like I think I'd be curious to see what Matt Gaetz thinks about Argentina. But I think this is an example of the type of highway robbery, frankly, that this administration in our own country is seeking to put on the American people. So I don't know. From a learning standpoint, I think it's good to kind of understand what's happening in other parts of the world. And obviously identify who these fucking scammers are. Let's check the headlines. Let me check the headlines before we say adieu. Let's see. Can't believe that plane flipped upside down. What the fuck is happening? Oh my God, did you see my post about what's his name? Oh fuck, man. What's that fucking guy's name? What's that guy's name? I don't know. Wait. Blurt, 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 blurt. Oh, this one. Let me show you this, because this was funny. I thought this, well, it wasn't funny. Actually, no. Sorry. Again, funny's the wrong word. I'm sorry. I shouldn't use that word. It's offensive. Okay, so I saw this on a Brian. Oh, shit. Okay. I saw this on a Brian Tyler Cohen little short clip. But this is our transportation secretary. Okay. This is what Brian Tyler Cohen posted yesterday in a thing about Sean Duffy, who's the transportation director. Yeah, Milei is a nightmare. Secretary Sean Duffy apparently had some kind of thread. I don't know where this is from, if it's Threads or something. I'm not sure. To do that, I need advice from the brightest minds in America. I'm asking for help from any high-tech American developer company that is willing to give back to our country. That is our Secretary of Transportation going on social media to get help. So I figure he's kind of like that guy, but less lovable. Anyway, sorry. I guess it was funnier in my head, but I can't. I read someone blaming the crash on Trump's firing the air traffic controllers. I don't think any Canadian ATCs got fired, but I did feel like arguing. I wondered about that too. Here's the thing. I don't know what's causing all of the issues with the air travel and whether or not, I'm sure in some cases it might have to do with the general malaise and things that are happening. So I don't know. It's just, I don't know. There's a lot. CBP has been toying with blockchain for years. I'm sure Peter Thiel is part of that activity, making a note to monitor new info in this space. That's interestingly. So Customs and Border Patrol has been toying with blockchain. I wonder how that would, Toronto had really bad wind. Okay, thanks, Lauren. I didn't pay too much. I didn't really look. I think maybe the pilot screwed up. I mean, it's just, I've never seen a plane flip upside down. Could be related to FA. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of reasons it happened, but it seemed like the weather was the main reason. Yeah, it flipped over. Did the controllers tell it to do a barrel roll? And then they went, wait a minute, we're too close. Canada from video seems to have a wrong flap setting and a very steep descent. Well, hello, fix that. No, I'm just kidding. Sorry, Canada. I'm sorry, Canada. If we did anything, I'm real sorry about it. Looked like an issue with landing gear first, and then wind caught it. Wow. That's terrible. I want to see if there was anything else that I had. I don't think so. I think that was most for today. All right. Well, there you go. Bianca Lorio with diligent review, so I defer. Orin, for sure. Toronto and Montreal had blizzards this week. Oh, gosh. That's right. You guys had some shitty weather. I always forget that. Is Toronto... Toronto's not, like, super close to Montreal, right? But they're just kind of, like, next to each other, kind of, sort of. Is Toronto more north than Montreal? Or less north? Like, south? Or are they parallel? All right. No. Okay. All right. I'm going to stop trying to geolocate what's happening with that. Tonight on Discord. Thanks, Neil. The Boston hockey fans will make Canada pay for the plane crash by booing "Oh, Canada." Okay. Montreal is more east and a bit north. Okay. Thank you. All right. That's a good orientation. All right. Neil, they had public information from EMS on the phone yesterday, and he said 2 feet of snow. Yes. Tonight on Discord, we're doing Documentary Tuesday. And actually, this was one Oomph had recommended a long time ago. And then it came up again, and I thought, oh, what a great... I have not actually seen the whole thing. So tonight at 6 o'clock Pacific... 9 o'clock Eastern, will be showing on Discord The Summer of Soul. And that'll be the documentary for tonight. So it'll be some amazing music and inspiration and great company in the Discord. Really great people in the chat. So we kind of talk and chat while we're watching the movie. And it's just a really sweet thing. So please join us in the Discord. The Discord is really lovely. Yeah, and thank you, for showing Malcolm X last night. That was great. You know, people can show movies in there. I just don't want any like hate speech or anything like that. But we're not that way, so we're not. I don't worry. But people, if they want to show a movie, can also use that space as community. I encourage that. I encourage you to use Discord as our community and our way to communicate when we need to. It's kind of fun. But is it the Black Woodstock movie? Yeah, Val, I guess you could put it that way. Well, you could put it that way. I think it's the Summer of Soul. And it's funny because my family and I were just talking about Sly Stone on Sunday and there's a new documentary about Sly Stone, I think made by the same people that made Summer of Soul. Yeah, I know. No room for hate. And, it just so I'm really excited to hear it. But Sly Stone was just such an amazing artist and leader and civil rights leader, and just really I want to watch his documentary too about him in specific. Yeah, Carla, it's not too hard. You just have to kind of be cautious, and I just clear the decks and I only show the stuff that I have. I don't know. We can do, Bobo's willing to do a tutorial for people on Discord. She's a little bit more experienced with Discord than I am. I think it was said that way in the movie. Oh, is it really? It had bigger crowds and more musicians. Yeah, exactly. Oh, good, Jane. I'm glad. Yeah, test away. But yeah, it's just, yeah. Have a really good Tuesday. I'm really reflective today for some reason. I don't really know. Just kind of hanging in there. I think I'm kind of getting to the point where I'm just going to keep doing what I do and not try to be anything like, super spectacular. I'll just do what feels right. It felt really good to be outside yesterday and doing it. It kind of wore me down just for personal reasons. But it was very invigorating, and I need to do that more often. So get that dinosaur out there, get a little of that angst out, but in a nice way. I don't want to scare anyone. So except for the Tesla people, I wanted them to think about it, man. How powerful would it be for Tesla employees to get up and walk out and just say, fuck you, and I'll get a job somewhere else? I think that would be great. That would have been a statement. Anyway, we'll use that dinosaur. I love that dinosaur. That dinosaur is part of me, and I love her, and I think she is very good. So have a great Tuesday. Yes, Val, please. Everyone should come to Discord. Come and meet us. Come and understand. Come and meet people who care about the world and care about people, and it's not an echo chamber unless it's an echo chamber for humanity. It's an echo chamber for humanity. Hell yeah, all day and twice on Tuesdays. I was so tempted. So I parked in the parking lot right next to the Tesla dealership, and I was so tempted. Of course I wouldn't, because there's cameras everywhere, and I'm not here to vandalize anyone. But I don't want to cost more money for people. But anyway, my point is that I almost pulled the chargers out of all the Teslas that were sitting up there being charged because they belonged to the dealership. But Bobo stopped me. With all the feds and the employment lines and hiring freeze, seems a poor time to be too demonstrative with the job in hand. Well, I guess so. I don't know. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, but all those people are going to go to the private sector and be more productive. That's what Elon said. Did you leave a root beer can? I didn't. Was I supposed to? Damn it. I know. See, Oren, J-Herb stops me all the time. Hey, Bobo's good. She keeps me from probably getting in real big trouble. Yes, they will be looking for jobs. Yeah. And where are they going to go? Where are they going to go? Yeah, just like whoever quits Tesla. Well, but they're car salesmen, so I don't think they're... I think car salesmen can go find another job. Yeah, Jay and Bobo. They're all selling their houses. Oh. No, my heart is bleeding. I have friends in the federal government. I just can't fucking believe this is happening. Bought some cannabis seltzers. Ooh. Oh, that's a great idea, Lee. Have them during the movie. With the glut of job seekers, I know. I mean, I guess my USAID contracting buddy mentioned they and 50K similarly. I mean, what in the world, oomph? What in the world? Where are they going to go? It's just so, like, it's so obvious that the destruction is real. You know, it's like, thank you, Tom. And thanks for sharing that picture, too. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Yeah, see, y'all. I come to Discord. They are just clerks. They don't sell anything there. No, we don't sell anything. Bye, Tom. Be safe. Yeah, come to Michigan. Things are still good, and we're close to Canada if it gets real bad. Michigan is high on my list. High on my list. It was fun. It was fun. Dino's fun. Yeah. I don't know. But yeah, so it was fun. Get in good trouble. I should try those for medicinal purposes. Yeah. Actually, you should, Val. You might like those little seltzers. They're pretty good. Actually, they're pretty delightful. They're not strong enough for me, so I'm kind of like, why am I doing this? I could just drink water and smoke weed. Yeah, Upper Michigan. Okay, Val, we're going to make our compound there. Okay? No worries. We're going to buy a compound, and then you can park your van in the compound, girl. We'll get you hookups. Okay? All right. I'll see you guys later tonight. I really, really hope. Please join us. I'll put up all the links and the information too so people can access it easy. A summer compound, right? Then we can go down to like New Mexico for winter. How about that? The UP is where Peace Love is. Oh, yeah. Returning to the Upper Peninsula. Hell yeah. I have some properties. Yes, Lee. Yes, Lee. I do too, actually. I have some properties marked in Michigan too. Anyway, sounds good to me, ladies. I'd love to hang out with y'all all day. That'd be a dream. All right. I'll see you guys tonight for the documentary. Have a great Tuesday. Our commune would be perverse city. Thank you all. Thanks for lifting my spirits all the time. You don't have to, but you do. And that just sounds, it's a great group. It's a great group to be involved with. Oh, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. Neil, are you going to make it? Eastern, is that too late? I think it's 2 hours. It's going to keep you up. Sorry. I might need to change those times. I just feel bad. I know, New Mexico's nice. Oh, good, Lee. I'm so glad. I'm so glad. I adore you. So thank you everyone for coming, and I will definitely hope to see you later. Yeah, Neil shows up at the end. 6 p.m. PT. Hell yeah. Oh, good. Thanks, Neil. All right. Thanks, everyone.